determine how Alfred went about killing these five men, or even when he killed these five men. All we know is that based on the investigation, four of his victims appeared to have been asleep when they were murdered, but the fifth victim, who actually was Israel, the one guy who really liked Alfred and looked out for him and was kind of like a father figure to him, he was the only one who showed signs of a big struggle before he was murdered. While Alfred denied killing all five of the men, he said that he basically only killed one of them and it was self-defense, and somebody else killed the other four. It was kind of confusing. Despite those claims he had, the one thing Alfred never denied was the cannibalism. In fact, Alfred straight up told authorities that he grew to really like the taste of human meat. In fact, when they searched that campsite that John Randolph found, they would find the remains of a dead deer that was right near the campsite. But despite it being right there, Alfred never attempted to carve it up and eat it. He just kept going back to his stockpile of human meat and eating that. In the end, Alfred was convicted of murder and he was sentenced to 40 years in prison. But in 1901, when he was 92 years old, he was granted parole, and right away, Alfred became a vegetarian and then died a few years later. From the 1800s all the way through the 1900s, Bodmin's St. Lawrence Hospital was one of the largest running asylums in all of England. But in 2002, it was permanently shut down due to so many accusations of patient mistreatment. Now, after it was shut down, the property kind of fell into disrepair. It was basically abandoned. And so when it became totally overgrown, it began attracting vandals and urban explorers. And so the owners of the property finally just put up a fence all the way around the hospital, and they hired security guards to patrol the property at night to keep vandals out. And so these security guards began doing that, and very quickly they began reporting that they were seeing and hearing things they couldn't explain on this property. They'd hear things like footsteps on floors that they knew were vacant, or they'd hear doors slamming, and at least one guard claimed to have seen a gurney.
That's Harvey's feet on the pavement.
But then when he checked the room, there was nobody in there. But perhaps the scariest account came from a security guard who, when he showed up for work that night, he was feeling kind of sick. And so when he was out walking the property, he found somewhere to lay down in one of the small hospital buildings. And as he was laying there with his eyes closed, he began hearing a tapping sound coming from outside. And so he stood up and he walked over to the window.
Harvey's like a hobbit.
But he couldn't see anything out there that would cause this tapping sound. And so he shrugged and turned back around to go lay down again.
He's just a hobbit.
When he turned around, standing in this room with him was this skinny woman wearing a white hospital gown, and she had this grimy black hair that was covering her face. And so the security guard was just staring at her, totally terrified. And before he could do anything, this woman just turns and walks into a wall and vanishes. To hear the full terrifying story, check out the latest episode on our newest volunteer podcast, Bedtime Stories. This episode is called Night Shift, and if you want more episodes like this, Bedtime Stories releases new episodes every Wednesday, and they're available on all podcast platforms. So that's going to do it. If you got something out of today's story, be sure to check out our podcast called the Mr. Ballin Podcast, where we have hundreds of stories, a lot like this one, but many of them are only available on the podcast. Again, it's called the Mr. Ballin Podcast, and it's available on Amazon Music. Wait, don't go anywhere. If you're looking for more strange, dark, and mysterious videos, click here.
Well, that dude ate them alive. At your side, my lady.
In the middle of the Sonoran Desert, hidden behind Border Patrol vehicles and makeshift tents, were hundreds upon hundreds of migrants, all of whom who hopped the U.S.-Mexico border in the past couple hours. It was a shocking sight to see. People from all around the world, herded like cattle on the cold desert floor, sitting in silence, awaiting an uncertain future. Despite these conditions, spirits are generally high, because most of these people have traveled days, weeks, and even months just to get
if it's turned up, they might actually be able to hear it clearly.
But there are also many children.
America is at a breaking point with record levels of illegal immigration.
These people's are at the center of the national conversation. But they could care less. They have finally made it to the land of opportunity, a nation allegedly founded upon the principles of liberty and radical individuality, where anyone, from any walk of life, can make something out of themselves.
I guess they call them detainees. They've been walking on this road. This road runs for 12 miles, 12 or 13 miles. What it does is it parallels our border fence. On the other side of it, on the Mexican side of it, is Mexican Highway 2. So the cartels have a really easy job. They just bring the people off of Highway 2 and then through the wall. The wall has many of those cuts that I told you about earlier, where they run the people through. And so the immigrants just walk down this road.
Right, so as you guys can probably see right here, that's a group of 5 migrants who just hopped the border, and they're walking directly into Border Patrol custody
To join the seated group of migrants that we just encountered.
So typically when you think of the border, at least me personally, I thought it was like people hop and then try to evade Border Patrol and make their way to a large U.S. city to start a new life. But in this case, you can see they are putting themselves directly in the custody of Border Patrol to begin the asylum seeking process. Like they're not trying to evade or anything.
A Border Patrol agent agreed to speak with us but didn't want to go on camera. Normally, agents are not allowed to be interviewed, and all press requests are typically deferred to a public information officer who rarely ever responds. But in this instance, the agent seemed exhausted and eager to tell me what was going on.
No, very few of them evade.
How come?
Well, because they allow them in. They don't evade because they'll let them come in. They'll load them in vans. They take them up to Phoenix, give them a $3,000 gift card and a cell phone, and send them wherever they want to go. You get a court date. You have 2 years to show up in court. That's the reason we give them a phone, because they're saying if they don't give me a phone, I don't know when I'm supposed to go to court. So they give them a phone.
At first, I was confused what the Border Patrol agent meant when he kept referring to they. To the naked eye, it appears that Border Patrol is the one handling and processing the migrants, but they're only the first step in a chain of bureaucratic authority that goes up to the Department of Homeland Security, then finally up to the Department of Justice's Executive Office for Immigration Review, which is more or less controlled by the Biden administration, who've taken a much more open arms approach to immigration after pulling back Title 42 just about a year ago. But despite pushing for more lax border laws in comparison with President Trump,
The wall just 10 feet taller, believe me.
Biden hasn't done anything to make the process of applying for citizenship any faster. In fact, it still takes between 18 to 24 months to get a response on a citizenship application. And it's actually possible to be denied citizenship if you fail to memorize and regurgitate fun facts about the history of America.
How many amendments does the Constitution have?
It has 27 amendments.
Good. Which group of people was taken to America and sold as slaves?
Africans.
Good. Excellent.
So it makes sense why a lot of migrants, many of whom are facing desperate circumstances, avoid the citizenship application process altogether. I wonder if my great-great-grandparents, who were economic refugees that fled Ireland in the wake of the potato famine, experienced such an arduous process when they arrived to America illegally. Unlike these migrants who arrived at the southern border, my family arrived on boats to Ellis Island 115 years ago. Much like Roberto and Alberto, who we interviewed in our previous episode, Arizona Border Crisis. They found themselves in a strange new land with pennies to their name. They had no particular plan, but what they did have was the willpower and determination to work as hard as they could with the hopes of one day providing a brighter future for their family. And it worked. And that's all thanks to Grandpa Jerry, who died 30 years before I was born. I wonder if he was asked who Paul Revere was, or what the Boston Tea Party was all about. Was there a concern back then that these migrants weren't American enough to join our society? Or is that way of thinking a new phenomenon, driven by the paranoia of a white minority?
An analysis of census data from the Brookings Institute projects the number of white Americans will fall below 50% for the first time ever in about 20 years, 2045.
Or perhaps it's less about race and more about the burden of inheriting global poverty, when we have so many problems of our own. I guess times have changed a lot too. It's not like there was fentanyl or cartels back then. And most immigrants plan to move to America forever, not stack up money here and go back home. I don't have the answers, but I do have a lot of questions. One question in particular: how can we as Americans expect to propagandize the entire world with our dream through Hollywood, the music industry, and the testimonies of self-made American billionaires, while simultaneously exploiting the labor, crops, and raw earth materials of developing nations, freezing the economies of our political opponents through trade sanctions, and creating rival drug cartels with our insatiable appetite for cocaine, fentanyl, meth, and heroin, and not expect a global economic refugee crisis at the southern border. But that being said, no matter where you stand on illegal immigration, I think we can all agree that our system, as it currently stands, is broken.
We have a legal process for immigrants, and it's being done by some, but it takes forever.
Yeah.
You know, so it needs to be sped up for those with skills and those who want to come and build skills and be Americans and be proud to be here and work and better their lives and their families. And the treacherous journey that they have to take across the border and through the desert, you're losing lives that way. And so I just hope in 2024 we can rectify this problem and help those who want to get here legally.
It appears that all of the migrants who were walking directly into Border Patrol's hands
What's
were
up?
approaching from a westbound road called Puerto Blanco Drive, a narrow dirt pathway running through the national park. So I decided to drive down the road to see if I could find some migrants to speak to. First, we see some signage warning us of what's to come. Truthfully, I don't expect to see much, but as I continue down the road, they seem to be spawning out of thin air from all angles. Most of them in a rush, we're told, because their cartel coyotes told them they had to get to the Border Patrol facility by nightfall in order to be transferred to a larger processing center dropped off in a major city. But I noticed a group of a few of them walking pretty slowly, so I called them over to the car to see if they want to talk.
How you guys doing? Where are you guys from? From Senegal? You're in America. How does it feel? What's the plan? Okay. Mm-hmm. Can you guys tell me about your life in Senegal? How was your life in Senegal? How you guys doing? Welcome to the United States. Where you from, man? Senegal. You guys are from Senegal? Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. You speak any English? Oh, cool. So, how was your guys' life in Senegal?
The life in Senegal is very, very hard. You know?
Chaos and unrest in Senegal once again. The opposition leader urged supporters to take to the streets to protest against his jail sentence.
The government is bad. Opposition are very difficult to manifest her problem. We are here to get another life for our family, for our people. We are very tired in Senegal. Senegal is very hard. That's why we come here to get another life. You know?
Yeah.
The American people is a good people.
Yeah.
You know, they are democracy. They are good life. You know.
What kind of work do you want to do?
Me, I was a soldier in Senegal. I do 2 years in the army. You know, after my 2 years, I was a security private. You know,
Security.
Yeah.
Okay.
Security private.
So you're gonna look for a security job?
Oh yeah.
Hey man, well best of luck, man. I appreciate you guys. Hope everything goes well. See you guys later. See you, man. Yeah, see you guys. After stopping to speak for a bit, the group of Senegalese men headed westbound toward the Border Patrol facility. We, however, kept driving. As you continue to drive along the border wall, you can see people popping out from under the wall in a specific part of the fence that's being guarded by an SUV on the Mexican side. Nearby, I see a group of mothers and children who appear to have recently just crossed the wall. They tell me they're migrants from Michoacan. The mother of these children, who personally financed their trip, says she's willing to talk to me.
Mi pregunta es, ¿cómo fue tu vida en México?
Pues muy cruel, hay muchos asaltos, matación, todo eso.
Es muy pobre.
Sí.
¿Por qué quieres ir a los Estados Unidos?
Como me comenté, estamos huyendo de la delincuencia.
What's the matter, Harvey?
¿Qué quieres para tus hijos?
Pues que estudien allá.
¿Hoy es tu primera vez en los Estados Unidos?
Sí, es la primera vez.
You want to go
¿Qué
outside?
piensas?
Pues que pues echarle ganas con los hijos y sacarlos adelante y pues sacarlos de la violencia.
¿Hay mucha violencia?
Sí, mucha. Por la gente que andan pues así, como robando, quitando a los niños y todo.
Pero es peligroso para los niños también.
Sí, es peligroso.
¿Qué tipo de trabajo prefieres?
Pues yo dependía del trabajo que sea un autónomo.
¿Y tienes planes para asilo?
Sí, para eso vengo, que me den apoyo.
¿Qué significa asilo?
Pues que ayudan a las personas con los niños que vienen de México para acá.
¿Es un proceso fácil?
Pues yo digo que sí.
¿Y vas a solo hablar con la migra y decir yo tengo problemas en mi país?
Sí, así es.
Sí. ¿Tienes una ciudad que quieres ir?
A California.
¿California? ¿Qué ciudad en California?
Victorville.
Victorville.
Ajá.
¿Tienes familia en Victorville?
Alright. There's no reason to be so nervous.
Viaje.
Sí, pues claro.
¿Cuánto?
10.
There's no reason to be so nervous.
¿Es para cada persona o todo?
Para los viajes y más aparte que nos piden. 12.
12.
God
Sí, cada
damn.
persona.
Necesitas trabajar para un año para eso, ¿sí?
Sí.
She's got a lot of
¿Y
kids
tienes
too.
miedo de deportar?
Pues sí tengo.
Sí. Pero no sabes ahora si eso es en tu futuro.
Pues no sé. Dependiendo ya de que esté allá con la migra, ellos deciden.
¿Qué piensas sobre la migra?
Pues yo pienso que nos van a ayudar, ¿no? Para eso van. Que ojalá nos ayude.
She had to pay
¿Qué joven
$1,200
tiene sueños de
per
los
child.
Estados Unidos?
Pues sí, sí tengo sueño.
¿Por qué?
American dollars.
Porque pues dicen que hay mucho
It's like
trabajo
4 or
bien y
5
todo.
times
¿Piensas
as
que
hard.
todas las personas en México quieren ir aquí?
Yo digo que sí.
¿Qué piensas?
You can see it in her face how hard she's worked.
Muchas gracias. Hasta luego. Sí. Midway through my shoot, I had an interesting revelation. It seemed that almost every migrant of Latin American descent, particularly Mexicans that I talked to, said they were leaving their hometown because of threats from gangs or being kidnapped by the cartel.
You wanna play?
In our previous episode, Arizona border crisis, we spoke to two different migrants, Alberto and Roberto, who reported similar stories.
Por los carteles nos sacaron, se sacaron de las casas.
¿Qué ciudad de México, Dios?
En Veracruz, ves que gobierna el cártel de Jalisco.
Sí.
Sí, pues te piden cuota y como si no tienes dinero, ¿de dónde te vas a dar?
Sí.
Y pues te sacan de tus casas. Y somos el grupo Matacetas y estamos amenazados que no podemos regresar.
Hay mucho movimiento de eso de las drogas y todo.
Sí.
Muy feo.
However, many locals and law enforcement personnel believe they're being disingenuous when they make these sorts of claims, because applying for asylum requires the proof of persecution or imminent danger. During the asylum-seeking process, it's typically not enough to declare that you're simply poor and looking for a better life elsewhere. You have to provide ample justification that it's actually dangerous for you to stay in your hometown or your home country. And even then, many claims are rejected. And so claiming that the cartel is personally after you is a really easy way to be granted asylum, especially because there's no real intelligence apparatus to confirm or deny the authenticity of this threat. The concerned citizen of mysterious origin who we met at the Arizona border last episode claims that cartel coyotes that control the human smuggling route around the Lukeville Gringo Pass area are coaching these migrants in how to explain themselves to press and border patrol agents.
The cartel or somebody is coaching them because they virtually say the same thing. Oh, that their lives are in danger from gangs in these areas, and they've been threatened with kidnapping, and we've even found a notebook that had those kind of answers written down as if the person was rehearsing these statements to say when they were, when they confronted the border patrol.
To be honest, this made perfect sense to me. I'm not for a second dismissing that narco violence has had a significantly negative impact on the civilian population of Mexico, especially in places like Ciudad Juarez, where hundreds of women have been found murdered for no apparent reason. But I found it difficult to believe that cartels were systematically kidnapping local children in their own communities and squeezing their non-affiliated, already struggling parents for ransom pesos. It seemed like they had bigger fish to fry, like supplying the open-air trank market of Philadelphia or the fentanyl market of San Francisco. That being said, even if these migrants or at least greatly exaggerating the cartel threat, they've still gone to extreme lengths to reach the United States. So their situation back home is obviously pretty hopeless. If anything, it's more sad that they have to present their situation in this way in order to be able to engage our immigration courts. However, some people, like the gentleman we interviewed, believe even the poverty they claim to come from is also a lie.
The part that alarms me, what you used to see 10 years ago, you would find these cheap Chinese-made camouflage backpacks that were purchased by the crossers in these border towns. And they would get across the border. The backpacks would invariably break or something like that. Now we're finding these Louis Vuitton leather backpacks. We found one just the other day that was lying on the ground. We opened it up. In the top compartment, there was a bottle of cologne and a UCB-C cord. Neck pillows. This is a different demographic completely.
I decided to walk through the Sonoran Desert to see if what the man was
So are
saying
you
was true
telling
by
me,
inspecting
is this guy
backpacks
fucking
from
retarded?
You guys, guess what it is? USB-C charger.
Is he stupid?
Staying fresh, another luxury item.
Yeah, it's kind of like a passport. It's an international certificate of vaccination stamped from the Republic of Guinea.
See what else is in here?
Oh, and lo and behold, the aforementioned, totally authentic Gucci slipper. We spoke to this gentleman earlier, if you guys remembered, who mentioned that these migrants, unlike the old migrants, are bringing like luxury items like Gucci purses, Louis Vuitton flip-flops,
Louis Vuitton.
Prada bags, and stuff like that. And so, as you can see here,
Yeah,
someone
totally
has left
different
behind
type of
a Gucci slipper.
Yeah.
But as you can see, it's not actually
Totally
Gucci.
different
It says
type
on
of
the heel
South
right here,
American, yeah.
Zaza. Obviously, in America, Zaza is a type of weed.
Zaza.
Zaza. Where's Zaza?
Zaza.
Best weed everywhere. Come on now. We don't bullshit.
But internationally, I would assume it is a variant knockoff of Gucci with the pattern, which leads to another theme, which is the mass production of knockoff luxury designer goods in the third
So
world.
what,
I don't know
you're
if you guys
saying
have been
that
to
these
Vietnam
poor
or
people that
Nigeria
cross our
before,
border can't
places
have
where
these
Gucci
items?
now.
Another
They
thing
must
I
be
noticed
well
along
to
the
do in
border
their
fence
homeland
were
if they
blue
have these
flags
items.
and water stations that were placed every
Wow.
quarter mile on the way toward the border patrol facility.
There's some kind of
You guys can
special
see pretty
stupid
much all along the border fence, like this entire way, every quarter mile or so, you'll see these giant blue flags. I'm not sure who puts them there, but they're basically what I'm assuming to be emergency medical services. They have like a giant thing of water right here. So if you want to get some water, you can obviously get some water and shit. They have cups here.
Upon further research, these tanks of water and flags are left behind by Humane Borders, aka Fronteras Compasivas, an Arizona-based nonprofit that sets up hundreds of water stations along the border to provide hydration to migrants, which in the summertime, as temperatures can rise to above 120 degrees in the desert, can be a matter of life or death.
People dying out in the desert. They were dying because they didn't have any water. So the next day I read another article about this. 2 people dying because they didn't have any water. So the third day, there was a mother and a daughter that died out here in the desert because they didn't have water. So I got pissed off. I said, I have to do something 7 days a week. We're out here in the field putting out water for the migrants.
If you're interested in donating, please go to humaneborders.org/donate. Last year alone, nearly 100 migrants died crossing the border in that 5-mile section where we filmed this video. And the sheer number of migrant deaths that occur in the Arizona desert as a whole, solely as a result of dehydration, is staggering. This in mind, 75% of migrant deaths happen in the summer months. So it's no surprise the winter months of December and January see the highest migrant traffic by a large margin.
Where you come from? Yeah, I'm from West Africa.
Oh shit.
From Guinea, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no easy ball. Yeah, by God in power, you know? Respect.
How long has your journey been so far?
Oh, no. Nothing to say. That's fucked up, though.
How'd you get to Mexico?
Oh, yeah, so... let me drink a lot of water fresh after that, so we can talk, okay?
This dude needs water.
Yes,
Demand some water.
Guinea?
It's been a 2
Oh, how did I get to Mexico?
Guinea, so after Guinea, so Senegal, Dakar, to take the plane to go Istanbul, 28 hours to escort, then Istanbul to Bogota, San Salvador, Nicaragua. So you pick up the car to go to the borderline to Nicaragua and Honduras, you know, then you go to immigration Honduras just to take 1 people, you know. Then take a bus,
He
Honduras,
lived through all of this.
Guatemala, Mexico.
Guatemala.
Mexico is fucked up, though.
Cops.
Yeah, man, bro.
Like the Mexican border patrol.
Mexican boy, yo, I spent it
I spent $5,000. They extorted you. Yeah, though. The guy is taking me my watch, my heart, and my AirPods. You know, because I don't have the money, man. You know, in my pocket. I use my car. Yeah, my bank, my car bank. You know.
So you finally made it to Mexico, and then what happened?
And finally, in
The
Mexico,
fucking police stripped
we
him
take
$5,000.
one bus to go Chapachula.
Welcome to
Chapachula is
Mexico.
too far. Then, yeah, Chapachula, we take one bus again to continue Arriaga. Arriaga again, we take a taxi, the yellow car, then bike, horse, to the three cycles bike. After that, Fujitan. Then after Fujitan, Mexico City. Mexico City, we go to the bus station to buy a ticket. We take the bus again, 1,070 miles.
Just to get
Bus
to
in Mexico
America.
City.
Just to get to America.
70 miles.
Dude, I hope he makes it to
Two
Kentucky.
days and the bus.
I want to give this guy a hug.
Then
He's
when I
fucking
arrived
amazing,
there,
man.
so I make it to this because I met the Spanish, the Mexican girl enter the bus station. She got so much love for
He
me.
deserves a lot better than to be working.
Yeah, she followed me, and that's the first, to the first meet. This is the Mexico bus station. You know how baby. Yeah, just to drink one beer again.
Oh.
It's parking. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah. Oh damn. Back.
Yeah, he's gonna come
It's
back
no
for his
easy,
Latino
but
lover.
thank God.
So what's your plan now, bro?
Is my plan to the next episode. Yeah. After this.
I hope I keep up with this
but
guy. He speaks really good English.
difficult to explain it, but that's in God power.
As the sun began to set and darkness approached, we figured it was safer to go back to the Border Patrol facility. When we returned, migrant population had doubled, and spirits were considerably lower than they were in the early afternoon when we first arrived.
¿Qué pasa? ¿Tienes hambre?
He's hungry.
¿Dónde eres?
Oh,
De Guatemala. Sí.
Sí. ¿Estás bien?
Sí.
no.
¿Qué pasa, mi amiga?
Tengo hambre.
Dude,
Sí.
¿Cómo fue tu viaje?
Está
he's
mal.
hungry. He's kind of out
Estoy
hungry.
muriendo de hambre. Solo agua y los calentados.
¿Quieres comida? Sí. Yo tengo. ¿Quieres enviar food in the car, right? Sí. ¿Qué es tu nombre, amigo?
Miguel. Miguel.
¿Cuántos años tienes?
Tengo 34.
Sí.
Sí.
¿Hijos o hijas?
Sí, tengo hijos. Tengo 4. Son 6 mis hijos. 3 varones y 3 mujeres.
¿Y ellos viven en Guatemala?
Sí, vivo en Guatemala. Sí.
¿Y por qué viajes a los Estados Unidos?
Pues, es que allá no tengo terreno, no tengo casa donde vivir. Por esa razón tengo que viajar.
He was homeless.
Sí, pero tengo que esperar la voluntad de Dios. Sí.
¿Crees en Dios?
Sí, soy cristiano.
Sí. ¿Católico o no?
No, soy evangélico. Sí, soy evangélico.
¿Y qué quieres hacer aquí en los Estados Unidos?
Quiero superar, sacar adelante mi familia.
¿Quieres trabajar?
Sí, quiero trabajar.
¿Qué tipo de trabajo quieres
Lo que
hacer?
sea, lo que caiga, yo rasque mi vida. Sí,
¿Tienes una ciudad que quieres ir o no?
lo que sea. Sí, con mi cuñado me va a encontrar allá en Estados Unidos. Sí,
¿Fue es tu primera vez en los Estados
es mi
Unidos?
primera vez.
¿Qué piensas?
Sí, sí, estoy pensando en viajar, pero lamentablemente me salió muy mal el viaje. Va.
¿Qué lo pasó en la viaje?
Pues mire, cuántos días ya llevo un mes de venir acá y pasando en los bodegos y así está pasando también. Y aquí no hay comida, no hay nada. Sí,
¿Cuántos días fue tu viaje?
30 días. Me lleva 30 días, un mes cabal.
¿Fue caro?
Sí, sí.
¿Cuánto cuesta para todo?
como así,
¿Cuánto cuesta para usted viajar?
como 100,000. Sí, 100,000 me están cobrando. Sí, y como para pagar eso, si no me voy.
¿Fue peligroso?
Sí, fue peligroso.
¿Por qué?
Porque nos venimos de escondido. Y
¿Sientes que la gente americana está bien?
sí, está un poco bien, pero no, pongamos uno, si va a encontrar uno, lo matan porque no lo conozca uno.
Midway through my interview with Miguel Yate, I began to put two and two together. When Miguel referred to having to hide a lot while crossing the border, he wasn't referring to coyotes. He may have been referring to one of the many civilian border militias that often lurk the perimeter of the border fence.
The local sheriff does not welcome their presence on Arizona's border with Mexico. They say they're not breaking the law.
In many documented cases, these militia groups are alleged to have opened fire indiscriminately on migrants crossing the border fence illegally.
So they'll run them
¿Tienes
down.
familia o amigos aquí?
No, no tengo, llego solo. No tengo nada.
¿Solo?
Solo vengo.
¿Vas a hacer asilo político?
Sí,
¿Es fácil para hacer eso?
pues no sé, Dios, me concedo un trabajo, me voy con usted. Necesito
Dude, he
recuperar
just needs some support.
mi familia, más seguro.
¿Tienes una
Don't
esposa?
work for him right now.
Sí, por eso tengo que salir.
¿Qué tipos de trabajo te gustan?
Pues lo que hay, yo voy a trabajar. Lo que sea, voy a hacer.
¿Puedes hablar inglés?
No puedo. No soy español.
Pero puedes decir cosas como hello en inglés, ¿sí?
Puede ser, sí, aprendiendo.
Hay mucha gente de pobreza en Guatemala.
Bien, hay.
¿Y cuando tú fuiste joven fue por pobreza también?
Sí, pobreza. No tengo casa, no tengo terreno. Es la misma. Por eso tengo que ir a ganar dinero para superar mi familia.
¿Dónde vive tu familia ahora? ¿En una casa?
Pues solo tenemos prestado una casa nomás.
¿Hay mucha violencia en Guatemala?
Pues la verdad que no hay. Solo pobreza, que no hay dinero, no hay trabajo, pues. Sí.
¿Qué es tu sueño para tu vida?
Mi sueño, pues, regreso un día, compre mi autobús o mi carro, a comprar mi terreno y a construir mi casa.
Sí.
Sí.
Soon after our conversation, Miguel's name was called, and he, along with hundreds of other migrants, began gathering in a single file line to board commuter buses, which were told leave the migrant processing center at 6:30 p.m. sharp every day. Groups of 40 to 50 people, often called micro caravans, began emerging and heading toward the bus to get a good place in line.
Hola, bienvenidos, ¿cómo estás? ¿A dónde eres? ¿Cuántos días fue tu viaje?
2 días.
¿Estás bien?
Sí, antes, pero
¿Asilo aquí?
sí, así muy político, porque ahora sé que por problemas de la comunidad y algo que le pasa a mi hijo. Se mete mucho la gente mala con los niños, entonces de verdad yo quisiera que me apoyaran para sacar a mi hijo, porque yo no quiero que a mi hijo le hagan ningún daño. Pues ahí sí yo preferiría algo como de cocina o en alguna casa, a limpieza.
Sí.
Me he costado llegar hasta aquí y batallándole con mi hijo.
¿Y qué ciudad prefieres?
Fresco Valley, Arizona.
Ok, sí, muy cerca.
Sí.
¿Quieres decir una cosa para los americanos?
Pues que nos apoyen y ahora sí que nos vean con buena cara, porque pues yo pienso que todos merecemos algo mejor, ¿no?
Sí. Good luck, guys. After our brief interview, the mother and her son headed to the bus line. And to my surprise, more and more migrants began emerging from all angles headed toward the bus. I wanted to speak to some more people about what their journey was like and what sort of life they expect in the United States. But it seemed like the commuter bus was probably reaching its maximum capacity given the amount of people I saw gathered nearby. So I figured the best place to continue doing interviews was actually in line, where Border Patrol agents were checking migrants' passports and photographing them for documentation purposes. Despite a gentleman's earlier claim that we have no idea who these people are because they shed all of their ID after hopping the border wall.
What they do is when they come through the wall, they shed any type of ID. No one has any idea of who these people are.
Almost everybody in line had valid passports and documentation, like this pair of cousins who came directly from Guatemala and initially told me they left because of violence and extortions.
It's really, really tough.
Hay mucha violencia y hay economía.
¿Qué tipo de violencia?
Se le digo extorsiones.
Ok. ¿Y ustedes tienen familia aquí?
Sí, mis hijos están acá, en Los Ángeles, California.
Tus hijos están aquí.
Sí, yo vengo luchando por estar con ellos. Intenté 2 veces, pero nada más me hicieron un retiro.
¿Cuántos años tienen tus hijos?
Primero tiene 21, la segunda 17 y el chiquito 12.
¿Y qué tipo de trabajo quieres hacer?
Pues a mí me encanta trabajar en casa, en restaurante y cuidar niños, ¿sabes?
¿Es difícil para cruzar la frontera aquí?
Sí.
¿Fue caro o no?
Pues la verdad que como venimos así viajando mucho por nuestra propia cuenta, pero sí, 18.
¿Cada persona?
Sí.
¿Piensas que América es una tierra de oportunidad?
Sí, la verdad que sí, no queda la menor duda. Sí.
Sí. ¿Por qué?
Porque nos da oportunidad de trabajar y, o sea, ganar mejor que en nuestro país.
Sí, por eso sale de nuestra tierra uno, nos abandona, pero es por algo bueno, para apoyarnos. ¿Tus padres son en Guatemala? Sí, solamente eso. I began to learn that it wasn't necessarily safety or quality of life that made America a better choice than Central America. You're actually much more likely to become a victim of property crime in somewhere like Detroit, New Orleans, Baltimore, or even San Francisco than you are in rural Honduras or Guatemala. It more has to do with our minimum wage and the dramatically inflated value of the US dollar in developing nations. For some perspective on just how lopsided our economies are, let's use the standard 9 to 5 American work week as a measurement unit. So that's 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, totaling 40 hours of work every week. With our federal minimum wage, which is about $7.25 an hour, that would mean the average American minimum wage worker makes $290 US per week before taxes. If you work that same job in Guatemala City, under the minimum wage that they said, which is weekly, not hourly, you make 846 quetzales a week, which is about $108 US. Meaning, even if you're making the bare minimum in America, washing dishes, picking berries, or cleaning houses, you'd still be making triple what you'd make in Guatemala or Honduras working the exact same job. It's almost common sense for a lot of these migrants to enter America, work as hard as they can, save up a bunch of money, and then go live a nice life back in their home country. And on a domestic level, it's actually happening in America, especially on the West Coast. Due to the skyrocketing cost of living, absurdly high tax rates, and overall mismanagement of California.
The LAO said lawmakers and the governor should consider billions in cuts to programs, including those related to education, the environment, and transportation.
Hundreds of thousands of upper-income Californians, especially those working in the tech sector, where stay-at-home remote work has become the norm, have fled the state en masse to reside elsewhere, in states like Arizona, Idaho, Montana, and of course, Texas, where the cost of living is significantly lower and the tax codes are much more relaxed.
3 big names in tech are all packing for Texas.
It has to do with taxes. The states that have been winning more recently are the states that don't have any state income tax or open taxes.
This mass exodus of Californians has disrupted the economies and political landscapes of many of these states, causing many Texans to adopt slogans like "Don't California by Texas," which refers to the progressive political views often held by California's economic migrants, who are, of course, seeking tax havens in red states. Texas doesn't want you. Politics aside, these migrations have been successful in saving Californians a ton of money in the long run. To be honest, I personally moved out of California for economic purposes as well, to save money, and to be able to provide my family with a higher standard of living. And I wasn't fleeing any kind of danger or poverty. So aside from being a federally tax-paying citizen, what's the difference between me and someone immigrating illegally? It almost feels like they have more of a right to immigrate to America than I do to a red state. It's not my job whether to say that illegal immigration is right or wrong, but I'm just saying, from a market, like hustle standpoint, it makes perfect sense, especially if the border is wide open like it is now. Anyways, as the buses prepared to leave, a final group of stragglers arrived, speaking Bengali. They said they were from Bangladesh. I've never met anybody from Bangladesh, except a taxi driver in New York City 6 years ago who told me that the traffic in Bangladesh's capital city, Dhaka, was so bad it drove him into a suicidal state of depression, prompting a permanent exodus from
more
his
than
home
a
country.
couple people
I
from
wanted to interview
Bangladesh
these
in a while.
migrants, but unfortunately, I don't speak a word of Bengali yet. Still, that didn't stop me. But bear in mind, as you watch this, that I have no idea what they're saying.
স্বাধীন দেশ গণতন্ত্রের জন্য উদ্যোগ এই জন্য স্বাধীন এই জন্য আমি আসছি কারণ আমি জীবন রক্ষার জন্য আসছি আমার বোন হয়েছে আমার ভাই চাকরি চলে গেছে প্রাইমারি স্কুলে চাকরি করে সে আসলে আমার ওয়াইফ একজন প্রাইমারি স্কুলের টিচার সরকারি টিচার মুসলমান 7 অক্টোবর 1900 আমার জন্ম তারিখ 12/6/84 আমার নাম মোহাম্মদ আব্দুল আওয়াল শেখ পাবনা জেলা
আমাদের বাসা।
Mohammed comes from Pabna district, a majority Muslim city of 3 million just west of the capital.
আমি এলডিপির সাথে জড়িত, এলডিপিতে যোগদান করি 21শে ফেব্রুয়ারি 2000 ওলি আহমেদের নেতৃত্বে এলডিপিতে যোগদান করি। এলডিপি পার্টি আমার খুব ভালো লাগে, কারণ এলডিপি পার্টির একটা নীতি আছে, আর অন্যান্য পার্টির নীতি নাই। আমাদের পার্টির নীতি নাই, কারণ
This is all very, very interesting. Mohammed is a member of the Liberal Democratic Party in Bangladesh, a group led by Oli Ahmed, a revolutionary who was the first Bengali military official to revolt against the occupying Pakistani forces in 1971. This led to the Bangladesh Liberation War, in which Bangladesh came out on top and won their sovereignty. Oli Ahmed's party, the LDP, is allied with the even more powerful Bangladesh Nationalist Party, or the BNP, who in the past 2 decades have been extremely active in their resistance to the current Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's organization, which is called the Awami League. Since Sheikh Hasina came into power in 2009, the BNP and the LDP, which Mohammed belongs to, have accused the Awami League of rigging the elections and fixing the ballots to keep Sheikh Hasina in power, leading to mass protests and, in some cases, political violence, especially during the elections of 2018.
The opposition activists staged a protest in Dhaka. They wore black gags over their mouths to condemn the election.
Police fired rubber bullets and tear gas to disperse stone-throwing opposition crowds, blocking major intersection roads in the capital, Dhaka. Many opposition activists and leaders were beaten up by the police, and hundreds were detained. Opposition blames the government for the crackdown. The government said the programs by opposition parties are intended to destabilize the country and make people suffer.
After the 2018 election, tensions continued to escalate between the Awami League and BNP, leading to the arrest and imprisonment of opposition bloggers, teachers, activists, and journalists associated with the BNP.
It's more than 20,000 opposition leaders, activists, and supporters have been arrested since late October.
Last October, just months before the election polls opened, Sheikh Hasina took things a step further, declaring the opposition party to be a terrorist organization and calling for the immediate arrest of any and all public BNP or LDP, including Mohammed.
আর অন্যান্য পার্টির নীতি নাই, আমাদের পার্টির নীতি নাই, কারণ একদিন আগেই নির্বাচন হয়ে যায়। ওরা যায় না, আমি এলডিপি পার্টি করি। আমি খালি জীবন রক্ষার জন্য এই দেশে চলে আসছি। যুক্তরাষ্ট্র একটা স্বাধীন দেশ, এ দেশে আসলে আমার জীবন বাঁচবে, সেই জন্য আমার আব্বা, আমি মোটামুটি ঢাকা আমার বোনের বাসায় আশ্রয় নেই। আমার বোনের বাসা ঢাকা মিরপুর, সেখানে আশ্রয় নেই। ওরা চায় যে খালি আমরাই ক্ষমতায় থাকি, স্বাধীন বলে কোনো কিছু নেই ওদের কাছে। 23 সালে আমি বাংলাদেশ ত্যাগ করি, ত্যাগ করে এই স্বাধীন দেশ যুক্তরাজ্য আমার খুব ভালো লাগে। 20 তারিখে মেক্সিকো ঢুকি, আর আমেরিকা আজকে 29 তারিখে আমেরিকা ঢুকছি। আমার ওয়াইফের কথা তুমি জীবন বাঁচাও, আমার আব্বার কথা তুমি জীবন বাঁচাও। আমি যদি জীবন আজ যদি বাংলাদেশ থেকে না আসতাম, তাহলে আমার
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you. Thanks so much. To my surprise, the buses still hadn't left yet. So thankfully, this gentleman was able to get a seat. I knew from watching the news in previous weeks that
Holy
these buses
shit.
were a major source of controversy when it came to
Oh
the
my
border
God.
issue. As indicated by their Texas license plates, these buses were funded by Governor Greg Abbott, who in the past 2.5 months has sent over 75,000 migrants from Texas and other states into 6 sanctuary cities, notably New York City and Chicago, whose immigration and housing resources are being dramatically exhausted by these buses. So this is kind of the famous buses that I've been, hearing. As you can see, this big ass charter bus just pulled up with Texas license plates. And right as it pulled up, they divided everybody into 2 lines. They're just gonna load everybody up on these buses. I'm not sure where they're gonna go, but yeah, this is it's bus time, baby. I decided to commit wholeheartedly to following this bus to wherever it would go, which I should note is not illegal, given that I'm a member of the press. The bus began on Puerto Blanco Drive and drove eastbound, back toward Arizona State Highway 85, a 2-lane road that crosses directly into Mexico where it becomes Mexican Highway 8. For reference, that's where we filmed the initial episode in this series, Arizona Border Crisis. We followed this bus for several hours, past multiple Border Patrol checkpoints, and ultimately onto an Indian reservation called the Tohono O'odham Nation, home to a highly sovereign Native American tribe that owns a 75-mile stretch of the U.S.-Mexico border, much of which has no border wall. For this reason, The Tohono O'odham Nation is a hotbed of human trafficking and drug smuggling. Everywhere you look, there are signs for missing women. And the Department of Homeland Security has created a tactical patrol unit called the Shadow Wolves, comprised of military-aged Native American men from the tribe who use ancient tracking techniques to stalk drug smugglers through the desert. As we followed the migrant bus through the res, it abruptly made a left turn down a dirt road. Okay, so we just followed this migrant bus all the way from the border in Lukeville, about 120 miles inland, and now we are at an airport. It's a regional small airport, and parked horizontally in front of us. From out of nowhere, a helicopter landed directly next to our car, and then tribal police came in from the dirt road, blocking us in, and then told us that we were not allowed to film on the Tohono O'odham Nation land unless we got a written permit from the tribal council. And since the tribal council wouldn't be in office until 9 a.m. the next morning, that meant we had to stop filming. The tribal officers were quite courteous with us, but still insisted that we leave and escorted us away.
If you're concerned about that, obviously we're concerned as well. We have people out here following federal agents. Well, I appreciate you guys cooperating.
So thank you for doing this story. Yeah.
The tribal police escorted us off the property, and we drove in the direction of Tucson. They followed us the entire way until we left the res. This left me with many questions. Seeing the tribal police obviously collude with the federal government to directly keep me away from documenting whatever they were doing was quite strange, and my mind ran wild with conspiracy theories about what the heck they were hiding. I realized at that point that I was only getting a small part of the picture, just speaking with migrants who had immediately crossed the border into the U.S. It seemed like the group really calling the shots and pulling the strings were the coyotes, who appeared to be playing our broken immigration system like a fiddle and probably making billions every month. And so my new journalistic mission began. I began to ask different migrants and other people involved in that whole world if they knew any coyote who would go on camera and give me a full tour of their operations. At first I thought this is going to be impossible. What kind of coyote would want to go on camera? But I learned that most coyotes actually see themselves as Harriet Tubman-style freedom fighters, transporting the poor and needy up north for a better life.
Okay.
So I got in touch with some coyotes who said they wanted a chance to explain themselves to the world. But there was one problem. They weren't anywhere near Arizona. They were in a city called Piedras Negras, which is directly across the Texas border from a town called Eagle Pass, Texas. A town of about 28,000 people that in the past couple months has seen more illegal immigration than any other city on the entire border.
On Wednesday, Border Patrol agents apprehended more than 10,000 migrants.
Scenes like these have happened too often in the last month, making Maverick County the deadliest area for migrants in this 10-county border region.
And so I caught a flight to San Antonio, rented a car, and drove to Eagle Pass. At first, I asked the coyotes if they could walk over the border and meet me in the United States, but they said that was way too sketchy. So I enlisted local rapper Cheddar Blanco to escort me across the border.
Keep me a strap on my lap and a strap in the back. Running with 20 bags of the gas in the truck, gotta serve like the Holy Go Pass.
So we're gonna go into Mexico.
We're gonna meet up with Coyote, professional Coyote. Coyote's gonna be the person that crosses you. So the person that's, trained person to go through the desert, go through the river, get you to your pickup over here in the United States. So
if you want to see our new episode, Texas Border Crisis, go to our Patreon, www.patreon.com/Channel 5. As many of you know, Channel 5 is, has always been, and will continue to be completely independent and powered 100% by your contributions of $5.
Saludos desde la mía, tu abuela. Excelente. Saludos. Saludos para Piedras. Channel 5 on worldwide, Hollywood is live. Fuck the authority. Channel 5 News. Channel 55. We don't fuck with custers. 5 is the best number.
We don't fuck with custards.
Grandma, everybody loves Ravens about to start. We haven't even jumped our TV dinners yet. It's starting! Grandma, it's starting! Oh, God. Oh, jeez, what the hell?
He's taking Brittle Moose's idea. He's taking Brittle Moose's idea, bro.
big stupid looking brother is.
Grandma, you coming? Oh, okay, she fell. All right, never mind. Well, welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? How you doing? Today we are going to be trying all of these amazing TV dinners. Now let me tell you something. I am not going to be eating all of these because I'm pretty sure if we ate actually maybe 5 of these in a row, there's enough sodium that we put down a bowl. Make all the fat jokes you want. That's a little bigger than me. Okay? A little bigger than me. We have a lot of the classics. We have Hungry Man. We have Marie Callender's. We got Banquet. Fuck. We got Banquet. We have Banquet. We have Stouffer's, Smart Ones, Lean Cuisines. We have Kid Cuisines. We have it all. And we do have some surprise celebrity chef TV dinners that I didn't even know. I didn't know those were a thing. I think how we're going to rank this little tournament, this little excursion, is we're going to base it per meal. So we have the Salisbury steaks, some fucking chicken, turkey, etc. So without further ado, let's get into it. Which one should we start with first? Let's start with the classic mac and cheese. You're thinking the same one? Let the mac and cheese roll. Today's video is sponsored by Fume. Fume is the business of breaking bad habits. And not only that, they're taking the bad out of your habit. Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavored air device that is completely natural and uses flavored air instead of vapor. With Fume, you can fill the void in a guilt-free way. The device can also be used to help you de-stress with an adjustable airflow dial and movable magnetic parts for fidgeting. I know I need that. The taste the first time I tried it was way more flavorful than I thought. It feels extremely fresh. The flavors of the cores were all really good. I personally preferred the crisp mint and the orange vanilla. Those are 2 home runs for me that I think I definitely be coming back to. It feels amazing to hold. It's well weighted, and I can't stop fidgeting with this thing. Talk about a total non-addictive fun time. The wood is so elegant and real looking, I can't believe how good it is to look at. And my God, do I feel cool using it. With flavors like crisp mint, sparkling grapefruit, and orange vanilla, I was surprised how smooth and flavored each of them were. Stopping is something we all put off because it's hard, but switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and fun. Join Fume and break up with destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com/PapaMeat or scan the QR code and use code PapaMeat to get 10% off when you get the Journey Pack. The Fume Solano launched last November. You can upgrade your Journey Pack to the Solano to enjoy premium walnut barrel, onyx black coated mouthpiece, and a smoother finish, and still get 10% off. Go to tryfume.com/PapaMeat and use code PapaMeat to get a discount off your order today. Thank you, Fume, for sponsoring our video, and back to the video. Our first round is done. It is mac and cheese, which is a staple. This is probably the greatest kids meal of all time. You know what I was when I was a kid? It was mac and cheese with cut up hot dogs in it. That's the fucking kid shebang. I think we're either going to go my right to left. I think feels good. And also, I will be pairing all of this with white trash favors of the Gold Peak Zero Sugar Sweet Tea, just because I'm trying to speed run cancer as quick as I possibly can. Thank you so much, Ashley. Appreciate you. So first off down here, we have Guy Fieri's Flavor Town. Pork, please. Here we go. Cook time for all this, 35 minutes. Okay, so some of these are kind of cool. Guy Fieri's mac and cheese is ground beef and pork with enriched macaroni and cheese. It kind of just looks like red sauce. I don't know, red sauce shit? I don't know. Let's see.
Why are you so dark? It's in the nighttime.
Are you in Flavor Town? I'm not in Flavor Town. Plastic noodles.
Flavor Town.
Next is Andrew Zimmerman. Caramelized onion pulled pork mac and cheese. This is one of the grossest things I've ever seen in my life. Can you see that? It looks like brown gravy. Oh my God. It smells like sewage. Gravy on it.
Oh.
Winter sweets are really so gross.
The biggest thing with these so far that's throwing me off is the plastic noodles. Like, they're very, very plasticky. Like, what is this supposed to be? Pulled pork mac and cheese? I don't think it tastes like pork. It kind of tasted like $2 ground beef or something, and there was no onion taste at all. So, next up, Lean Cuisine, because I'm trying to watch my figure. Sure, Lean Cuisine, nice Vermont white cheddar mac and cheese. Ew. Why not? All in all, it doesn't look bad. Okay, I'll just pull I pulled some of the skin off the top. Ah! Nick, please look at that hair. Look at that hair, dude. Right there. Big strand of fucking hair on the Lean Cuisine. But I will persevere.
It's fine. It tastes like mac and cheese. The only thing with this is that it has the same texture as like mashed potatoes, but it does taste like white cheddar mac and cheese, so that's a positive. Versus these, like the noodles are kind of mushy, but all in all, I don't know. It's whatever. Now look at this, dude. Stouffer's macaroni and cheese, no huss, no fuss, no fucking ground beef, pulled pork mess, whatever. This is aesthetically, I gotta say, this is the best looking one. Oh, baby, that is just creamy. What is it? That's what good pussy sounds like, right? True.
Can't even be bothered to make mac and cheese.
All right, let's see here. Oh, it's a bang. Stouffer's knows how to fucking do it, dude. That's good. Unironically, I would eat that more. That's really fucking good. I don't know what the fuck is happening down here. Okay? Enough with the fucking gimmick of the pulled pork and stuff. That's obnoxious. That looks like what I feed my donkey. So, god damn it. One more. So far, it's not even close. Stouffer's is fucking killing this. What the hell is this called? Marie Callender's. I don't think I've ever heard of this before in my life.
You never really? That's a restaurant.
I've never heard of Marie. It's a restaurant? I've never seen.
Is it a restaurant? It's always been around.
There's little like crispy stuff on top
Really?
of this. Breadcrumbs. Okay. This does look like a bowl of literal vomit. If you just want to get a close up on that. Try to tell me that Dawson does not look like vomit. That is insane, dude. I don't know if whenever I'm like sitting down, I'm like, I'm just gonna watch some TV, and I just look down at the
I know my
big bowl of
sister
vomit.
really
Let's
liked your
try.
hot pies though, from that Marie brand. And I always thought they were
Marie.
kind of gross.
My
Nice
mom
word.
loves Marie Callender's.
God damn, that's good as shit. What the fuck? We got ourselves a competition here.
It's like a
Stouffer's
trusted
and this
name.
are by far the best. The noodles on
sister
that
really
one
didn't
are
like
really
the
good.
book,
You know what's weird though? Is it's not like a macaroni shell. It's like kind of like a wrap. It's like a little
I always
noodle
liked to
flour.
cook food though. She always liked to microwave something.
Next up, we have the 4-cheese macaroni from Gordon Ramsay. I will say the presentation of this looks very tasty. Nice big noodles here. The cheese looks, well, when I do that, it kind of looks like dick schmegma. You ever heard of dirty dick before and you like pull down the foreskin? Let's see.
Oh, he's not circumcised. Oh.
I think this British son of a bitch is onto something. They should be ashamed. Honestly. Don't fucking throw. You don't need all the frills, you know what I mean, of the other stuff. Just noodles and cheese. That's all you need. That is awesome. That's really good. And then we have Kid Cuisine Level Up. There's a fucking unicorn.
You sell Gordon Ramsay stuff to buy it too.
I remember when I was younger, Kid Cuisine was like the shit. You would be able to decorate your brownie, and then your shit would look like a rainbow.
It's like you never watched Ratatouille
There's
though.
so much chemicals
It's kind of fucked up.
delicious. It was really great. Let's
Wait,
see.
you never did?
There's no
We
way
should
there's
ask
actual
him to.
noodles in this, dude.
Who knows
No,
what
you're
the
supposed to dip it.
Oh, it's a dipping sauce.
as something wants to have movie
Okay,
night.
so I see.
Here we go,
These
watch.
things are filled with macaroni. You're supposed to dip it in the cheese sauce. In terms of innovation, on a bed of, as the British would say, crisps, right? Fries.
You should go to this Twitter.
Solid. That's what
I think
I
you know what.
couldn't think of what it was. Damn, dude. That shit's good. The cheese sauce is ice cold. Come over here and you put your finger in that right now. Oh, I told you it's ice cold, dude. This though, dude, holy shit, wow, man, holy fuck, that is good. Holy shit, that's really good. What the fuck? This is the bottom for sure. These three. If I had to say, I would put Andrew Zimmern's pulled pork mac and cheese at the bottom. That is like honestly should be a war crime. That is disgusting. The presentation is disgusting. It is fucked to no end. And Guy Fieri just proves time and time again he has no idea what the fuck is going on. It's like shitty ravioli.
Yeah,
He's like, hey Chef Boyardee, do you have any of your scraps left from the bottom of the fucking wastebasket?
No, it's not a chef.
Yes. He's like, great, I'm gonna sell it and put it into a microwave dish. Lean cuisine, it has the same consistency of mashed potatoes. So in my opinion, the bottom three, at the very bottom, Andrew Zimmerman, Guy Fieri, Lean cuisine. This is where it gets tricky, right? You have Stouffer's. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Stand off the floor, a little hair. That's okay. Good noodles, simple. Yellow cheddar. Not trying to be fancy. Stouffer's isn't a fancy girl. This is old reliable. This is the woman that you marry. Is she the best looking? Absolutely not. Is the man the best looking? No. Reliable. Trustworthy. Would give my life. Right? Versus Marie Calendar. Where the fuck that is. It's good, dude. Noodles are good. Cheese is fucking good. Gordon Ramsay. Even better. It's a shame. Because honestly, I don't have one of these. I need to stop eating so much because we have so much ahead. But this is, it should be illegal how good this is. Try this and tell me that isn't fucking amazing. It's a good fucking macaroni bite right there. Coming in dead last, Andrew Zimmerman.
should be shot in the street like an Italian mobster in the 30s. Shame on you. Next up, Guy Fieri. Once again, you should be right beside him with another blindfold on. Shot in the street like a fucking.
Oh my
Lean
god.
Cuisine comes up next with their mashed potato mac and cheese. Stouffer's comes in after that. Even though it's delicious, I would recommend Stouffer's all day. But is it as good as Marie? I don't think it is. Marie comes in higher up than Stouffer's. All right, this is delicious. A little bit of crumblies is nice and everything. Next up after that, Kid Cuisine with their amazing mac and cheese bites. The other cheese is ice cold. Still doesn't deter me, dude. Unbelievable. And then, to much of my surprise with these fucking goofy celebrity chefs on this side, Gordon Ramsay comes in with a fucking home run, dude. Chef Ramsay's 4-cheese macaroni is by far the winner of this round. Oh my god. Nick, come over here. You try this macaroni right now. It's really good, isn't it? Next up, we're gonna do country fried chicken dinner. Roll it up.
Scott Deborah can be such a bitch. I want to divorce her. Should I, Robert?
Yeah, those brothers are funny. Oh, looky, chicken fried steak in front of me. Kind of sound like me saying like sucky or something like that. Wasn't supposed to be that. This is what I remember. This is tried and true what I remember forever. Hungry Man. Remember those commercials?
Hungry man, it's good to be full.
We have Banquet. Gordon Ramsay coming back. Oh, the winner of the last challenge coming up here. Marie Callender's coming back up as well. And once again, another strong contender of Kid Cuisine. Granted, this is not chicken fried steak. This is their dino nuggies. Nothing wrong with that. So nothing wrong with that. I will say on the back of these, it's very concerning because the sodium content for Hungry Man is, let's take a look here, 1,480 milligrams. Which is, we're going to be taking small bites. I'm not about to have a kidney stone. I'm not about to have a heart attack. It's not going to happen. It will happen in the future for sure until I die in my sleep. That's not today. Let's get into it. The first one is Hungry Man.
Be a man. Eat the whole thing.
This is sad. This whole mess right here this looks like the cheese from the last round. Okay. I will say the mashed potatoes look pretty nice. You got some nice. What the hell? Ooh, cinnamon apples? Cinnamon apples? Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Have I just tried the chicken fried steak? You can try it over everything. Boy, come on, dude. Think of the soda. Not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of gravy. A tiny bite of chicken fried steak from Hungry Man himself. Let's try it. This just takes me back to like middle school. Very inoffensive. I will say I do want some of this with the white gravy and the
Potato flakes? Wow.
fuck is going on with that.
That's bad.
Yeah, just like butter, baby. Little mashed potatoes. Little green bean. This is a middle school lunch, like literally. You know what? Honestly, I kind of like it. Take me back to when I was a younger man. All I wanted to do was look at other people's Yu-Gi-Oh cards. That's what that makes me think. Like, you know, Hungry Man. It's a solid choice. What can I tell you? It's a solid choice. We got Banquet up next. I will say, Banquet's chicken looks much better. Look at this. It's like a little piece of art. Gravy. Drizzle it over. Mashed potatoes look nice. The corn.
Except he's filming in such a darker setting.
I don't know what the hell's going on with that. Let me do a little cut.
And he doesn't have that vintage
I
vibe.
think that's a big dildo on his shelf. Is it?
I just need to
He's
do a little
sponsored by
cut
a dildo
here.
company.
I will say, you know what's kind of weird? I know it's a microwave thing.
Yeah, that's a big dildo.
Here we go.
He's the first YouTuber to, I don't know, maybe. He's the first YouTuber ever to be
It feels
sponsored
like
by a
80%
dildo.
ready. I wouldn't complain.
It's a dildo.
Literally 80% ready. They said, you know what? No meat. It's not very
Yeah.
cool. If someone was like, hey, we're having a Banquet chicken fried steaks, I'd be like, good.
I'm serious.
Fine,
He's the
sounds
first
good.
YouTuber
All right,
to
so
ever be
last round,
sponsored by a
Gordon
dildo
Ramsay set the
company.
fuck up with his mac and cheese. This is
That's
my
like
favorite
historically
chicken.
true.
It's really nothing to do with fried chicken, but it was a chicken option, so I went ahead and
Wow.
got it anyways. I will say the broccoli
That looks
looks nice. This looks like a nice little dish. Look at
That
these
looks good.
potatoes in here, huh? Look at the broccoli in here. This looks like a real meal.
That looks
It's kinda
edible,
fucked up.
yeah.
What the fuck are you doing, Gordon? It does not look as good as the box cover. That's to be expected, though. All right, dude. Here we go. See what you got here, buddy. Also, sorry about the snipples. I'm still kind of sick. That's why we're
Simple. I
having
make that for you all
Gotta
the
have my
time.
greens.
Yeah. I bet it's not as good, but
Oh my word, give me some of that broccoli. Give me some of that potato, dude.
yeah. That's how I feel when I eat your stuff.
Yeah, I just make
That is an enjoyable bowl. How much was that? $5.95? For $5.95, just throwing that in the microwave. I think each one of these took like
For
$6.
$5.95, that's a rip off.
It's unfair though, because it does have an extra layer of taste to it. These are all. It's almost like they put the white gravy in there to hide something. They're all drenched in this white gravy. All right, last time Marie Callender was on top with their mac and cheese. I'm not gonna lie, this looks kind of terrible. Is there mashed potatoes on this? What the fuck am I looking at?
Yeah, there's mashed potatoes.
Oh, it's just already blended in. So this is the mixed up. Oh,
He likes it.
look at this pool. I can't tilt it more. Oh, fucking pour out.
Very good.
You like how the bowl is making
You
pieces?
give him the bits of other ones.
Marie Callender, you dog. That's a lot of liquid. I will say this is by far the most.
Thank you so
like,
much,
this
baby.
doesn't even look like chicken. I don't know what the fuck this looks like. It's just not satisfying.
You start wanting some other food though, like something a bit more filling, I guess. Just that
No, I'm okay for now, but
I'll be honest.
that curry is still keeping me sated in a very deep and soulful sort of way. Can I have a beer though?
Wouldn't recommend that. I mean, I'll try that corn. Corn is also very. Goddamn jaw.
Yar.
God damn. What's weird is
Yar.
the amount of water at the bottom of the bowl. I would assume that it's not dry and chewy as shit.
I know.
It's just wet.
I get those
What a
meaty
wet
fingers.
mess, dude. God damn, it's like eating a leather belt. Son of a bitch, dude. No, Marie Callender's. I don't know about that one. Next up is Kid Cuisine Dynamo.
You don't have to eat this.
Right? Is this barbecue sauce? What is this? That's chocolate pudding.
I'd probably do the same
I feel
thing.
like he's an older brother.
That just
Yeah, I
lives
get
in
that.
the background. It's like, when are you coming out?
And if he was, I would love him all the same.
Chocolate pudding with the
I
dynamo
feel like if I
nuggies.
had an older brother.
I could see him.
Delicious. The nuggies
In a
are
way,
so
he
good.
has sort of.
I'm glad he decided to come and step out from animation and just show his face a little bit.
Yum.
He has eyes that are almost sort of kind of like not really, but there's a semblance
Fuck, man. Those
Old
dynamo
troll.
nuggies are good.
in
So
both of your eyes.
obviously,
So I
from
could
this,
see that.
the worst is Marie Callender's. Like that's,
I
thought it
could
was
see
grilled
how
chicken
you could be
first, but there's breading on it. And it's
related.
like this
If
white
you told me,
piece of butter.
I would sit like
I
maybe
think
you
I
have
already
the
have
same.
my
Maybe you have
rating.
the same
I think I
mom.
already know. Last, Marie, Mary
Maybe you'd have the
Marie
same mom.
Callender's.
Like,
Not good. Tough as
Yeah, I
shit.
could see
Feel like
that.
I was at the
Really
Wrangler
could.
store in the belt
I
section.
really could.
Not a good eat. Next up, I'd probably do Banquet just for the sheer fact that 80% of it is breading. Ridiculous. 80% of it is breading. And then the white gravy too.
But he's
There's no
yeah, he's the first YouTuber to get such a sponsor.
texture, but it's like with breading, it just becomes like nothing. It's
He's
odd.
the
For a
first YouTuber to
mouthfeel,
get a
this is
sponsor
fucked.
like that.
Mashed potatoes, which is mush, and then you have corn. So it just feels like you're eating a big pile of shit. And then I'd have to say, I'd say Kids Cuisine. The Dino Nuggies are good, even though I will say, I dipped them in the chocolate pudding. Probably wasn't supposed to do that. It was a little chocolate dipping sauce. They're still good. Solid. The fries, you need to work on the fries. The fries are mushy. They're unappealing. They feel like slugs in your mouth. That's not a fun thing. When I'm a kid, maybe the idea of slugs is fun, but I don't really want them on my mouth. Second up, I think we had my boy Hungry Man. Hungry Man wasn't bad. Classic grade A middle school lunch meal. The apples were delicious, even though they are sitting in a literal vat of sugar butter. Sugar, drizzle, all that kind of stuff. The potatoes are pretty good. Green beans are tasty. The chicken tastes like chicken. What else do you want from it? And the gravy kind of tastes like gravy. Kinda. That's fine though. That's the appeal. Look at this packaging. Big, strong, Hungry Man. I like that. God damn it. Dare I say, Gordon Ramsay coming out again on top though. This is delicious. Like I would.
Oh my God, what's happening?
These are fucking amazing. The chicken is thick. It's bountiful. The broccoli is seasoned as well. You get a little bit of lemon goodness on it all. Drizzled over the broccoli and the potatoes. I liked it all. That's my ranking. I have scared myself into thinking I'm going to have a heart attack with the sodium. I mean, I'm looking. I mean, even Gordon Ramsay's saying 1,000 milligrams of salt. No man is meant to consume this much salt. I didn't eat a lot though. I'm not doing the thing I did in the alcohol taste test one where I keep double dipping. I can't do that here. These are literal salt bricks that I'm looking at, all right? We know what we're going to do next. We're going to do Salisbury steak! Good luck! Is that interesting? Next up, we have Salisbury steak. Which let me tell you something about Salisbury steak. My grandma, the drunk whore that's upstairs, she used to always be like, Salisbury steak is for children. It's not for grown people. I didn't know what the fuck she meant for that. So I will say that for this one, I am going to interpret this as if I am a grandparent and my grandson, David. David, do you like Salisbury steak? Okay. Well, I'm going to see if this meal is fit for my grandson, David. So let's start it off here. We have, once again, Marie Callender's, which you're saying that this is a restaurant?
It's like American, yeah.
Like an American, okay. Like you know what Perkins is?
I know what a Perkos is.
Perkins? So it's like a Perkins is what you're saying. We have Hungry Man up once again. Gordon Ramsay, the undisputed champion so far, with slow roasted beef. I mean, I think that Salisbury steak, whatever. We're bending the rules a bit. Gordon Ramsay doesn't do the traditional dinner, is what we're finding. But we have to squeeze in. And of course, we have Stouffer's Salisbury steak as well. One thing I haven't kept in mind so far yet is the presentation. So far, compared to the picture on the box, that looks pretty identical. I think David would be very happy to see this pop out of the microwave for him. On the other hand, Hungry Man, it looks like it's buried in either barbecue sauce or the applesauce from last time. It looks like that, doesn't it? There's no char marks. It looks like two little McDonald's hamburger patties in a vat of, I don't know, fucking like 50-30 motor oil. And also, I'll be completely honest, the fucking wasp nest that brownie is supposed to be, what the fuck is going on with that? It's nice and plump here. I feel like a flock of bugs is going to come out here and attack me. That's something that David might be afraid of. David, would you be afraid of that? His mother's got questions about her anyways. And then of course Gordon Ramsay, which once again, you know what? Like, I'm not gonna lie, the box looks a little better than that. This, I'm not gonna lie, this looks like cat food. But I'm optimistic because of how good the other two have been so far. But this does legitimately look like cat food. I give my cats nice canned food, and let me tell you, it looks a lot like this. But don't knock it till you try it, right, kids? This looks probably the grossest out of all of them. I'm not gonna lie, even just the prison-esque container this is in. Once again, it's in its own kind of slime. We do know that we like the mac and cheese, though. We do like the mac and cheese, but this does look like. I mean, I've never seen meat in a shape like that before. Is this what normal Salisbury steak shape is? I guess kind of so. Kind of what Hungry Man's is too. Who decided the Salisbury steak shape? I want to have a word. You know what? To switch it up this time, we've been going right to left. We're gonna go left to right this time. We're gonna start off with Stouffer's Salisbury steak. Let me see here. I'll be honest. Even the way that cut it, I don't think I'm gonna enjoy this one. Before I bite this, have you had Salisbury steak before? Is this gravy? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's supposed to be gravy.
Like brown gravy. Okay. Oh man, I don't know about that. Reminds me of like a bad pot roast kind of thing. Like when you smell a crock pot, you're like, that's good. Okay, no. Okay, no. Let me get some mac and cheese and make quick before just to match that taste. It's offensive. Like I felt like it just yelled at me when I ate it. That's what it feels like. You ever had deer before? No. It's really like gamey. Kind of tastes like a bad deer. People need to tweet at Stouffer's and ask if the Salisbury steak is deer. The brown gravy also is. Maybe I'm just not a brown gravy fan. There's no getting around it. I mean, look, it is swimming in the gravy. Oh, good God. Look at that. What the hell is this? Flip it over. I mean, this just looks like wet meat. That's just wet meat is what that is. Stouffer's not starting off good. Like I said, the presentation, the cat food Gordon Ramsay thing. Let's see here. Gordon hasn't done us wrong so far. Now, to be fair, I'm not going to judge this too much like them because I don't think this even has brown gravy. Or not, does it? Is that brown gravy? So it does have like a brown gravy on it. Nice little piece here. Looks like meat, actual meat. I don't know what the hell this alien fucking organ over here is, but
These are all pretty exquisite rooms, though, right?
I think I'm finding I just don't like brown gravy.
No,
The beef isn't bad. It's definitely not as good as
That way it
the
all feels
chicken.
full.
That chicken
No,
was
you've been filling it out.
This is like pretty forgettable. So far, this is Gordon Ramsay at his
I like
worst.
your use of
Potatoes
different
are good,
colors
though.
and
I've never
stuff
been a
too.
big
You've really
gravy
been
guy,
switching it
to
up.
be completely fair. Hungry Man coming up. Now this might be this is probably the ugliest plate we've seen today. That you should be ashamed. Does that look like a fucking wasp nest or not? Holy shit. And then the Salisbury steak. To be fair, you do get more than the Stouffer's. Let me see here. Oh, man. Even just stabbing into it. Yeah, it's like lava cake. Oh, dude. That is brutal. I need to stop stabbing because it's just going to let more of this fucking nectar into it. Dude, it is drenched. Disappointment. Got the hamburger patty. That might even be the regular McDonald's meat patty right there. There is just way too much gravy, dude. What the hell? They do have mashed potatoes in here again. Am I supposed to, like, okay. Microwave brownie. I just feel like Little Debbie has been doing this for like 180 years with Bad Boy Open. It's insane how something can look so chocolatey but have no chocolate taste. Like it has a texture of a nice brownie, but there's no flavor there. Kind of like plastic, like toy green beans. This might be the most disappointing round. I feel bad. I'm trying to decide which one I'm giving to David. You're fucked, dude. I'm working hard for him, but it's not. I don't know. I really don't know. Poor son of a bitch. And then Marie Callender's. This one looks the most like the box. It's probably the best looking one here. Dare I'd say. It kind of looks like a steak. Stabs like a nice piece of meat. A nice little cut there. Let's not forget the sodium. Okay, smells like sausage. Legitimately breakfast sausage. Oh, dude, I bit into the potato and it's like it gushed like a liquid out of it. Oh, that is bad, dude. That is so bad. How the fuck does a potato do that? Holy shit! It was like a fucking grape or something. Oh my god. The potato really fucked us on this one, dude. Holy shit. What a fucking pitiful round. It's unbelievable how bad a potato is made. Potato's like the easiest thing in the world. There's a couple factors. One, the visual isn't so much as important as it is did we get sold the right thing? The idea, the hope, the dream. I think Gordon wins this round again. David will be eating Gordon Ramsay because he's a classy boy. He's a good child. You're a good boy, David. If David was bad, though, God, they're all just kind of like terrible in their own ways. Marie probably comes in second. It was just a potato. The meat is just like, it can pass as like a fine. Spit went down my. Yeah. Okay. Marie Callender's would be second. The potato's terrible, but at least the steak, the meat can pass off as like a decent breakfast sausage. Even though this is a Salisbury steak, whatever the fuck that's supposed to taste like. God, I mean, unfortunately, I think Stouffer's comes in third, even though I don't know what that is. There's a slight allure to wondering what the hell is that? What is that piece of meat? Where did that come from? I need to know. Stouffer's, you need to answer for your crimes. But it makes it even more insulting that Hungry Man comes in last here. Hungry Man is the staple of TV dinners, and this right here, this is an abomination. The meat tastes like 2-day-old McDonald's ground beef. I've never had a brownie ever be that tasteless. I don't know. I almost applaud it. Other than that, even the mashed potatoes, the green beans, it's terrible. David, you're going to school with the goddamn Gordon Ramsay meal. All right? And if he's bad, you're getting a Hungry Man. You're good, you get this. You're bad, you get this. All right? Salisbury steak. Who in their right mind wants that? Whoever sits down and is like, God. All of the Salisbury kids. I've never heard of anyone next one.
So intricate, isn't it?
I like it a lot.
Right? Dude, it's really fucking crazy. This is like the second floor. Dude, this is the first floor. This floor is massive. We got a giant. We got like the second floor now, right? Basement level, that's all player activity. It's crazy.
Activities on every floor.
Oh my God, Robert, put that gun down. You're gonna kill someone with that thing.
I'm trying to see what you can do with all that money. You can do a lot.
I don't remember Raymond's brother having a gun. Oh, the lasagna's ready. You know, if I'm being honest, lasagna isn't my favorite of the Italian dishes, but it's it's nice. It's pasta, red sauce, and whatever. I mean, you can't complain. It's not as simple as not as easy as macaroni and cheese, but I am curious because some of these look pretty decent, pretty good. So we have a lean cuisine, which my God, I don't know about that one. We have Walmart's Great Value lasagna. Gordon Ramsay, the fucking home run king himself of TV dinners, got him in here. It would not be a TV dinner without Marie Callender for some reason. We have Stouffer's lasagna, and then, oh God, is that my theory? We have Dice Flavor Town pizza lasagna. Yay. Right to left, lean cuisine time. In terms of presentation, is this meat sauce? Where the fuck is the meat at? There's no meat in the sauce. What are you talking about? Does that look identical? Does that look like Lean Cuisine's gourmet lasagna? Looks pretty good. Let me see here. I'm just gonna stab into it. Oh, it does not smell pleasant. There's something about, I don't know what it is. It's kind of the same thing. I kind of have a weird gag reflex even with Chef Boyardee. It's just that smell of canned or processed. Holy fuck! Apparently this is the toughest noodle on earth. I don't know about that. It's not like bad. It's just a weird fucking, I don't know.
Hold up. That's pretty good. That's pretty fucking good. It looks like that. You know what it is too about these things? It's the fucking like white. It's like cat food. You know the cat food where you like take the lid and it's like that kind of thing. It looks. It's like cat food, but it's not bad. A little soupy. I'm gonna have to try another bite of that later on, but I'm gonna keep moving. This looks slightly burnt. Does that look good? One thing I like with a nice lasagna is when it has the little green spreckles. What is that, oregano? Italian seasoning? It's always fancy, isn't it? It's like looking at like your 5-year-old cousin's freckles, except they're green and they're tasty. I don't know what some of those freckles taste like. It is a little burnt, Nick. I will say that. Oh yeah, I'm trying to play.
That's just the crust.
Okay, it's the crust. Let me dive in here. Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Put it in for 2 extra minutes, because...
Alright. It's like fucking typical, dude. God damn. There we go. This is like, has a little meat and stuff in it. What the hell are you? What the hell are you? It's like kind of sweet, and then yeah, like you get the oregano taste where it's like, but it's Italian. That's what's kind of doing to me. It tastes like sweet noodles, but it's also Italian. Don't forget about that Italian. Gordon Ramsay once again coming in. This looks like a diarrhea bowl, like bloody diarrhea. I once had bloody diarrhea one time. I was sick in college. It was like weird bloody diarrhea. I never went to the hospital. That's not a good sign. If you have blood in your stool, you should really go to the hospital. That's a real thing. Luckily, nothing bad came of it. I think. But this is exactly what it looked like right there. Oh, memories of college. What do you see here? Ooh, yeah, she isn't a looker. I'll tell you that much. I will say, look at that vibrant cheese. It's Romano. Romano cheese. Look at that. Goddamn Gordon. Get this guy some show or something. This Gordon guy. That's delicious. That's really fucking good. Hey, she don't got the looks, but goddamn it, she got the flavor. Goddamn it, baby. She got the flavor. That's really fucking good. Shout out to Lean Cuisine and Great Value. Why don't you put some fucking Romano cheese in your shit, dude? Shit's delicious. A little soft goodness, man. I tell you what, though. Rule number 1, never fucking eat lasagna and drink a glass of water. That is a horrendous combination. All those like little giggly bits just in your mouth and dancing around. Did you like wet lasagna? Did you like it watered down? And you're like, not really. All right, my girl, this is a lot. This is heavy. I want to just preface this too. I'm eating like one bite and throwing these away. I feel terrible about it. I did donate $1,000 to my local food shelter. Just want to put that out there now. I'm going to say it again too because people skip through. They don't give a shit. Well, listen, I feel bad for throwing. Like this is. I mean, a family could do very well with this. Hopefully it tastes bad, and I won't feel bad about it. Is that a good thing to say? I feel like a bad person for saying that. Oh, Nick. Oh, it's a soupy mess under there. Oh, the cheese is hiding just disaster. I don't know about this one, dude. Oh, there's Romano cheese. Romano cheese, Nick! I'm trying to make this as gross as possible. Yo, ASMR food people be like... And that's why I'm wondering if the Great Value lasagna, if that's fucking like ketchup in there. It doesn't taste like ketchup, but there's a lot of sugar in ketchup. What a fucking mess you are, dude. Look at you. Lasagna is such an aesthetic food too, isn't it? Like a good lasagna. Damn, it looks good. You think that looks good? Yeah. This looks like what the Walmart thing should have been. This looks like every man or woman walking to Walmart with their pajama bottoms and a Tasmanian devil shirt on. That's what this makes me think of. A 28-year-old buying menthol cigarettes with a Tasmanian devil and fucking Homer Simpson slippers and some pajama bottoms, some Tweety Bird pajama bottoms. Some shit. Oh, God. All right, Stouffer's. Stouffer's has been kind of hit and miss. Started off strong with probably the most aesthetically pleasing mac and cheese I've seen, which I'm pretty sure, fact check me if I'm wrong, is the mac and cheese that Macaulay Culkin got in Home Alone. I need to be fact checked. Please show it right now. What I tell you, this doesn't look the worst. I will say, a point off aesthetically though for me because it doesn't have the oregano. It adds a lot, doesn't it? Aesthetically, it adds a lot. God, digging into this thing, it's like I feel like I'm dissecting a cat. That's what it feels like. I don't know why. I just got flashbacks to my anatomy class when we had to dissect a cat. We put them in these big fucking Ziploc bags and sprayed like a preserve spray on them. It smelled like mellow yellow. Jesus fucking Christ. Salud. I see all this, the beef in there even, right? But all I taste is like just pasta. Like I definitely got the beef in there, everything. And all I can taste is just pasta. It's not very flavorful. I'm not gonna lie. One chewy fucking noodle too. Goddamn.
was how strong Stouffer started. I was like, this is the cheap alternative that you need. I don't know. I'm disappointed. This sauce, it has to be better than Marie Candle's calendars. Is that just because I don't taste the ketchup sauce, and that's why I'm like, I may prefer it? I think that's an acceptable response, though, too. I'd rather taste nothing than ketchup, whatever. God, look at this. You want to see the most deceiving thing ever? Look at that. Hey there, Mr. Investor. I want to pitch you TV dinners. Does that not look like one of the saddest bowls you've ever seen? Here we go. Got some of this. Let me get some of the pepperoni in there, too. What a crime. Look at this, dude. Look at this buildup. Look at this fucking disgusting buildup. Does that look yummy? You know what that is? It's the juice that's in the bottom of a pepperoni package. This all tastes like spoiled pepperoni. Oh my god. It's like a cool deal. Go back over to my favorite celebrity chef over here, apparently. I didn't know I had such an allegiance to Gordon Ramsay. This one is fucking delicious, man. Dare I say, it's also his best dish. No, I don't know. The chicken was pretty fucking good. Oh! It's a hit. Oh, it's a hit. I mean, the only one that is remotely enjoyable is... It's not even fair at this point. Gordon Ramsay just keeps fucking winning. It's unbelievable. The cheese. The bolognese sauce. So good. The noodles. Delicious. The sauce. So good. My second, if I'm being honest, the fucking lean cuisine lasagna. You need to go meat and potatoes with this shit. You don't reinvent the wheel when it comes to fucking pasta and red sauce. Lean cuisine? You're telling me I can get skinny and eat good food? Are you kidding me? Heaven on earth. I would probably honestly put the Walmart lasagna in third. We'd probably go to Stouffer's for 4. I just have so much hate in my heart for Guy Fieri right now. Guy Fieri. 5, 6. Marie Callender's has been pretty consistent so far. This is a cheap brand too, I'm gonna say that. Usually gets points, but unironically, that's gotta be ketchup. There's no way this is not ketchup. I wanna know what kind of fucking conspiracy Heinz and Marie Callender's has against us, but we are being lied to. It is remarkable how good the Gordon Ramsay meals are, dude. Unbelievable. I bet this might honestly, I might like this more than the chicken. The chicken was fucking good, wasn't it? Let's clean this fucking shit up and move on to the next one. I'm tired of looking at this shit lasagna, dude. People don't realize this. I don't know what video we're at. We started this at 8 p.m.
I know,
currently 2 in the morning. We record these little bits. On average, each round we're doing, it takes about 30 to 40 minutes to cook these fucking meals. We're in chicken pot pie territory, bitches. I hate chicken pot pie. It's 2 in the morning. I'm fucking tired of doing this stupid fucking video. Oh my god. We're just gonna get right into it. I have never liked chicken pot pie. It's okay. I'm not a big pie crust fan, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm not even a pie fan. I like all the elements of chicken pot pie. I like peas and chicken and all that kind of stuff. But then inside it's always like fucking creamy and like, I don't know, weird. So Nick here said that a cold chicken pot pie is worse than death. So I'm really, really praying that these are at least warm. Or else he said it's gonna be like eating sherbet. So I'm not looking forward to it. I'm just gonna get and just fucking plow through this deal. Banquet. You know what I hate about the pie crust? Look how cracked that is. It's revealing underneath like a schmegma kind of fucking corn and just gray. I fucking hate this shit, dude.
It's the cheese that grows in your foreskin if you still have it as a guy and you're not circumcised.
I've only had a little bite of each one, but I keep having a panic attack. Like I'm having a heart attack from the sodium.
You did ask.
Who the fuck are you?
Can we just point out for a second that that pie looks exactly like the Gordon Ramsay pie? Look at that pie and that pie.
Oh, they are similar, aren't they? I wonder if that's just because they're supposed to be fancy. This is like pita bread. Country Kitchen Chicken Pot Pie Delicious Eats by Cardia Brown. Cardia? We have a nice layer of pita bread on top. Ew, wait, what? Oh, dude, look at this. Try to tell me this doesn't look like a fucking manhole cover. Look at this. You want to see what's inside Grandpa's diaper? How does that look? Does it look enticing? Are you hungry yet? Delicious Eats by Cardia Brown. It doesn't smell the worst, I'll say that. It smells better than the fucking banquet one, dude. No, it doesn't taste bad. The carrots are good. The chicken is good. The sauce or whatever the fuck's in there. What the fuck is even in these? Is there gravy in chicken pot pie?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Is gravy in there? No fucking one. I hate gravy. Can we just scroll over to healthy choice? Look at how sad this is. This is a fucking lie, dude. Look at that. See how it's like glazed with like a nice puree, savory pot pie sauce? Where's the sauce at, Nick? Is that supposed to be the crust? Oh, these are dumplings. Okay. I guess I was gonna say what
See, I have a
fucking
full
do. So this is literally raw chicken, corn, carrots, peas, and a dumpling.
But you can tell I haven't even spent all the money.
If someone came in and like, hey, fatty, you're looking to lose some weight, eat this prison food, dude. Hey, you fat.
A lot.
This is what you get to eat because you spent your whole life in gluttony, you fat tub of lard. Are the dumplings good, fatty? That's what it feels like. What a depressing bowl this is. Like, this is just makes me sad. I'd rather die a fat husk of a man than have to fucking subject myself. This is like embarrassing. This is like literally someone's pointing this out and being like, uh-oh, fatty in the room, fatty. You probably don't care about that, don't you, huh? You don't care who plays fat, right? It's so obvious. Okay, whatever. The hit or miss kings themselves. Marie Candles. Calendars. I keep wanting to say candles. This doesn't feel very warm, Nick.
That's the worst one to eat cold. I put it in for 10 minutes.
It's okay, man. I don't know. You said you like these?
I used to, and then I had a cold one, and then...
Oh my god, I cracked it. It's like tapioca pudding coming out of it. Dude. It's a literal cream pie. That's like spunk. Bad cum. Oh, dude, I don't want I fucking hate chicken pot pie so much.
Bad cum?
Like a dry piece of shit over there. God, this hurts. You know what? People would die to have this, man. There's starving people in the world, right? So I should be very grateful to have this. And that's what we're going with this mindset now. I'm so grateful for this meal. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Huh.
It's like a butter gravy, but the vegetables are really hard. There's gonna be some dude who's super offended that I don't like chicken pot pie. Sorry. If there is one person that I would be like, hey, now's the time, it's this man right here. Gordon Ramsay coming in. This one was good, and it looks, I mean, identical. I really don't like. Oh, that's brown gravy in there, dude. I don't like brown gravy. Just listen to this. Can you hear this? Imagine when every time you pulled a scab off, it was like. Isn't that disgusting? Dude, just pick it. It's just a scab. Oh, brutal. That's the little guy hiding underneath your rock. A flock of ticks. All right, here we go. It has a lot to lose here because every time Gordon has come up, Gordon has always been number one. To God and the crown. Big ups. It's not bad. It's nice whenever the vegetables are soft, like they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be cooked. You know what I mean? Chicken's good. Vegetables are good. The gravy is not bad. I'm really not a gravy guy, and the gravy's not bad. Okay, that was difficult. That's not going to count. This is literally chicken and vegetables in a bowl. That does not count as chicken pot pie. This was horrible. Like, even just looking at this, it makes me sad. It makes me feel like I'm watching like a fucking movie about oppression. About a group of people being marginalized for no reason. This is what this makes me think of. This makes me think of the inhumanities in the world. Like, all the times I've been betrayed in my life. Every time someone's been kicked down. This is what this banquet has made me feel. I feel like a lesser person because I've indulged in this. I would like to know who the CEO's banquet is so I could write them a formal letter talking about my distrust in mankind now because of this chicken pot pie. Marie Candles Calendars is slowly becoming a name that I despise. It's slowly becoming a brand that I once would rejoice in this competition, but am now becoming more and more betrayed as I go on. Gravy was buttery, but it felt like the first time I ever had cum in my mouth. Unexpected, unwelcome, downright surprising. The vegetables were as hard, it was almost like eating a handful of pebbles, and the chicken itself was nowhere to be seen, once again buried underneath the salty, salty load that was the gravy. Really, this competition is between these two right here. Gordon Ramsay has done no wrong, and I would ask him to be the godfather of my children based off this competition. But I will say, I think that he's met his match with a country kitchen chicken pot pie. Cardia Brown knows how to make a damn fine chicken pot pie. Honestly, this was pretty good. The gravy was great. It's got to go 1, 2, 3, 4 is the 10, and I will not refuse to count this. This is embarrassing. It feels fat phobic to me, even though I don't really, fat phobia. As a fat man, I have my own qualms with it, but it was probably the most offensive thing to happen to fat people since the Nutty Professor. So, do it yourself. That's that chicken pot pie. We have to keep this rolling because I think it's going to be 6 o'clock in the morning by the time this is done. Let's keep going. Okay, let's keep going.
You know what, Robert? Just do it. I don't care. I want to fucking die. Put the gun against my temple, Robert. Pull the fucking trigger. Come on, do it.
I don't know why I watch Everybody Loves Raymond. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what's going on in this show.
Oh, it's spaghetti time. God, I feel my head shaking. The sodium is taking me. I'm gonna just kind of hopscotch this one. I'm not gonna go one way or the other. Everyone's had spaghetti before, so everyone knows what spaghetti should taste like. I'm gonna start with Marie Candles. It's so much. Because I don't trust it. I've lost all faith in it. So let me see here. These are all cold. This one's not as bad, but they look. I mean, like. Imagine sitting down at an Italian restaurant and this is what they give you. It smells really bad. I don't think we have any Gordon Ramsay ones left either, do we? We have an Andrew Zimmerman one though, right? Zimmern? Is it another diarrhea bowl thing? I think it's meatloaf. He has a meatloaf one? Oh, dude. I just wanted to cut a piece of this meatloaf. I don't want to eat a whole ball. The thought of having another piece of TV dinner meat right now is making me want to fucking gag. My stomach is not setting right. Bon appetit. Hey, salut. I thought my taste buds were betraying me. I don't know what's good or bad anymore. I'm in this state of existence that my body, I think, is just telling me to go fuck myself since I put so much TV dinners inside of it. Serving bowl made from plant-based fiber. That's nice. You think that looks like the picture at all? You don't? That's weird. Here's what I'm gonna do this time. This is how I'm gonna throw a wrench in the whole operation. I'm not gonna tell you what I think until the very end. Not a single word will be used to criticize or compliment any of these dishes. We've had a lot of good luck with Healthy Choice so far. This is so sad. I can't say. I will say their bowl's made of plastic, and that's not very eco-friendly, is it, Nick? Healthy Choice didn't make the right choice, did they? Did they? All right. I feel bad for whatever fucking mental deteriorating ape is buying these regularly and eating them consistently. I know there's gonna be a couple people who are like, "What's the big fucking deal, dude? I eat these all the time." So, Stouffer's is next. Lean cuisine. And last but not least, Banquet. Healthy Choice. I didn't know pasta could have such a taste. The pasta with the meatballs, it kind of feels like drinking orange juice after brushing your teeth. It's harsh, it's unwelcoming, and it's simply just disappointing. Also, it comes in the most obnoxious fucking thick plastic bowl because you're supposed to mix your own sauce with it, which just feels like an extra step to having someone take a really solid turd and use it as lipstick on your mouth. That's how it feels. Stouffer's. Smells like eggs. Lean cuisine, one of the most offensive sauces I've ever had. Earlier we talked about ketchup and stuff. I didn't even realize that never came close to what this is. Legitimately, it feels like I did something wrong in my past life to deserve that kind of treatment. Marie Candles, tastes like spaghetti. Banquet, meatballs were comparable to what I would assume if you cut a piece of someone's gum out of their mouth and tried to chew it. That's what I assume that it tastes like. The noodles tasted like noodles. So my scoring is dead last, Lean cuisine. Following up, Healthy Choice. After that, eggs. After that, Banquet, and then Marie Candles. So far, if you're doing a TV dinner and you're wanting to do anything Italian, I would just stick to chicken parmesan, or I would just stick to the lasagna. The lasagna wasn't nearly as bad. The spaghetti, I think that it's because it's like a mac and cheese, where it's kind of simple and easy. It's noodles and red sauce, and then you throw in a meatball in there that is, bada bing, bada boom. But something so simple can also go so fundamentally wrong. Versus the lasagna, at least some of them were at least edible. This is, it's an embarrassment. I think about all my brothers and sisters in Sicily crying, weeping over what this competition has done to the great nation of Italy. As Mussolini once said, give me justice or give me TV dinners. What did he get? I think he got killed because he did a lot of war crimes over here. Okay, on to the next one. I also want to say, too, we're past the 3:30 mark. I don't know if that's going to stay in. I just want John, I want you to know that's what's happening. That's That's where we're at. The energy is starting to fade. The sodium has taken full control. My blood is no longer made of iron and oxygen. It's pure salt. That is who I am now. I am salt. If there's one meme to take away from this video, let it be, I am salt. How is my grandma not awake yet? Grandma, did you make this meatloaf? Everybody loves Raymond's over.
Alright, I'll see you next week, Robert. I love you, brother.
The last TV dinner, meatloaf, an American staple. Every time you ever watch a movie, what's the one thing that people complain about for dinner?
Brussels sprouts.
Meatloaf again? Every fucking time. I'm not a huge meatloaf guy. I mean, it's just ground beef, right? But some of this stuff, I mean, that looks like testicles. That looks like my testicles because I have testicular cancer. Okay? We started off right to left, so that's how we're going to end it. And let me tell you, I am not happy that in the final round I have to see Andrew Zimmern. This looks like the driest, most disgusting piece of shit. Beef meatloaf topped with ketchup, mashed potatoes, and peas. Hell yeah. God bless, dude. You know what? I'm praying that Andrew Zimmerman, I think he's gonna have a good one here. Gonna get a little bit of everything here. To the last round, everybody. Here we go. You know what I think it is? This does not have brown gravy. And it's just like a little bit of ketchup. It's fine. The meat is fine. The mashed potatoes are really good. The peas are tasty. I can smell the fucking smart ones meatloaf next to me with brown gravy. And I want to fucking curl. I'm going to go on a limb and say that no one's going to beat this. Andrew, you might have made up for your fucking terrible macaroni, dude. Oh my god. I mean, what the fuck is this? Mashed potatoes smell pretty good, actually. What the fuck? Let me try some of these mashed potatoes first. We couldn't have been more wrong about that. Tastes like peanuts. It's disgusting. Is that what healthy potatoes taste like, or peanuts? It is horrible. It's like the sole of a shoe. Oh, God. It's spicy. Too much pepper. Are you fucking kidding me, Nick? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Why does Marie fucking Callender's have every genre of food in the TV dinner game, dude? You know, I started this competition off really respecting them. Have I liked one since the macaroni and cheese? I think I have. We started this 8 hours ago. I'm not exaggerating. That's why we switched over from 9 in the morning. Unbelievable. Get me out of this nightmare. Somebody get me through this nightmare. I can't control myself. Right? Yeah. So poetic, isn't it? To this experience with that. The corn tastes like beans. What? I'm not enjoying it. I thought the corn was like corn. Yeah, it's pretty hard to miss it. Yeah, corn's like super cheap too. They give this shit to like cows. I didn't know it was possible for a meatloaf to be. Does that look like turkey? Does it? Potatoes are okay, I guess. It looks like turkey, and it doesn't taste like ground beef. It kind of just tastes like, you know, in sci-fi movies, whenever they have like made-up food and drinks and stuff, they're always in like weird plastic cups and shit, like an Alien or Fifth Element. That's what I imagine like the on-set meat tastes like for those scenes. It's not like it's bad, but they're just like, if you eat it, it doesn't do anything. It just disappears. You can eat it all day, Bruce Willis. Sigourney Weaver. Stouffer's, once again, another brand. This is just, I mean, what is this? Why is also the brown gravy bleeding over into the edges over on this side? These two giant bull testicles are just drowning in a vat of caramelized brown gravy. Look how it's like bleeding over. Isn't it fucking disgusting? The brown gravy is just so bad, dude. Meat and potatoes, not bad. Brown gravy, though, why do it? I can't really fault this one as much because I'm just simply not a brown gravy fan. The last one. I want to thank Ray Romano and his brother, whoever that actor is, got a deep voice. choice. The potatoes look nice and well seasoned. The meatloaf is hot. I can't tell if it's in brown gravy or if it's in a vat of like caramelized ketchup. Maybe it's both.
I love it. I can't wait to use those trays on my patio. How does it get boy? No.
Not the worst thing. Not the worst thing I've ever had. Honestly, what I'm finding is the lean cuisine. Not bad. I think 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lean cuisine comes in, and sometimes they slap. I have 0 life left. I have nothing to give. What have we learned here? The biggest thing I can tell you from me doing this is one: if you're in a financial pinch, or you need something quick, easy to go, you need something microwavable for work, spend a couple extra dollars just to get the Gordon Ramsay stuff. The Gordon Ramsay stuff rules. Skip the Guy Fieri bullshit. Skip that guy, fuck him. I don't even know what the fuck he's from. I think someone said it was Bizarre Foods or some shit, I can't remember. If you're eating TV dinners, you're not losing weight. These are a scam. Any fat people who are out here who are just like, I don't think I'm gonna try it. It's frozen. It's gonna be riddled with salt. You're gonna have a heart attack anyway, so just enjoy the good stuff. Marie Callender's, I was told this is a restaurant like that to Perkins or something in America. Let me tell you something. Stop. Enough of this. Just make the macaroni and that's it. Everything else is dog shit. Stouffer's, I kind of have to say the same thing, even though I'm pretty sure you're the Home Alone mac and cheese. I'm pretty sure. Everything else, though, pretty dog shit. To be fair, these are like $2. So that's all you can afford. Beggars can't be complainers. You know what I'm saying? Lean cuisine, if I had to be like, if someone's holding a gun to my head and they said, we're going to kill your fucking child unless you eat these health TV dinners, I would choose lean cuisine over anything. Lean cuisine, whatever. It's not bad. Unironically, if I was just like, you know what, I just need something quick for my job, whatever, just the Gordon Ramsay thing. It's like $6. $6, if you think about that, how many meals do you eat per day at a job, realistically? 1. You get 1 break, you work 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, 6 times 5, $30. $30 a week. My fat ass spends $30 on Subway, on DoorDash, for one thing. It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know what was better. I'm not even a big lasagna guy. I thought the lasagna was delicious from Gordon Ramsay. I also thought the chicken was really good. The lemon chicken, that thing was fucking dynamo. The fucking mac and cheese was amazing. I mean, I really cannot recommend it enough. He also has like a bunch of like appetizer stuff. I didn't know Gordon Ramsay, his big thing was beef Wellington. So they have like bite-sized beef Wellingtons. Then they had crab cakes and cheese bites. Those were like the appetizers. They didn't really count as meals, so we didn't include them in this. So there you go. I wouldn't wish this on my enemy. I mean, I took very minimal bites. I've shit 4 times during the shoot. All liquid. I'm not proud to say it. That's just the reality of it. Could that be pre-existing dietary decisions I've made? Maybe. I'm just letting you know the outcome so far. Salt is running through me. I feel like I am that of the Salt Lake in Utah. That's what it feels like. I feel like I am made of salt. I am expelling salt. I am one with salt right now. I feel dehydrated. I've drank 6 bottles of water, pissing like a racehorse, and shitting liquid like crazy. I don't feel good about it. That's just the scenario we're in. Any other thoughts? What do you think?
What was the absolute worst?
I mean, man, yeah, trying to think back. Let me reflect on some of my memories here. The absolute worst one may have been Banquet's chicken pot pie. That one was pretty foul. Andrew Zimmern, his macaroni and cheese with like onion, it had like onion and beef in it or something like that. That was fucking terrible. Both of the Guy Fieri things I ate, like really bad. The fucking pizza lasagna thing, it just tasted like pepperoni soup. It was like wet, but it felt like it was all like grease from the pepperoni, and the noodles, they just tasted like pepperoni too, so it was just like a hodgepodge of pepperoni soup. It wasn't good. God, I mean, really anything by Banquet should be illegal. Those are probably the worst ones. I mean, all the ones where I tilted it over and I spilled the liquid out of it, that was a bad sign. I think one of them was the Salisbury steak I did, and it was like extremely dry. That kind of chemistry didn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense. Obviously, you can't go wrong with chicken fried steak. I feel like that's easy. It's breaded, nice lean chicken. Meatloaf and Salisbury steak, I think that you're probably over the age of 60 if you order these. I don't know another demographic that they're not just peddling this to people who are in hospice. I can see some of these being a viable meal option if you're like on the go. If you're at home though, just fucking cook it yourself. It's gonna be way better. Even like mac and cheese, I mean, just get your own noodles, make your own mac and cheese. You know what I mean? You can make way better. There's this great Maddie Matheson video on YouTube where he tells you how to make your own mac and cheese at home. It's delicious. I did it twice with my wife. It's awesome. All in all, I gotta say this: TV dinners were made for the little guys. They were made for us average Joes out there. And you might look at me and you might say, you know what, Hunter, are you an average Joe? Are you one with the people like us, Hunter? And to that I have to say, I have a drunk grandma upstairs that needs my help. So if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you to leave my home, and I'm going to go tend to her. Even though she's probably dead, she's been out there for like 8 hours. Thanks for watching. Grandma, I'm coming. Dusty little fucking bitch. Jesus Christ.
Little self-insert here as well, just an edit. I just wanted everybody to know that we wasted a lot of food today. That's pretty fucking lame, I'm not gonna lie. So we did make $1,000 donation to a local food shelter near me called Harvesters to kind of subsidize this because I did feel really bad. So just wanted to let you know that something positive did come from this video, and we hope that people will donate moving forward too. If you waste food, just try to fucking give back, I guess, you know what I mean? I don't know. Is that cool?
Is that cool?
Today we've got the majestic legendary Pokemon from the Kalos region, Xerneas, the mascot of Pokemon X and the embodiment of life itself. This member of Gen 6's Aura Trio has a rich design, a stag in the shape of an X, with bases in both Norse and Celtic mythology. Its encounter in Pokemon X is majestic, and it had a starring role in the movie Diancie and the Cocoon of Destruction. Let's not stall any further, as we've got a lot ahead of us. And so, we'll ask right away, how good was Xerneas actually? And in this video, we'll be going over these competitive formats. From day one of XY, Xerneas instantly became the biggest threat in Ubers. Forget Kyogre, forget any form of Arceus, no. Xerneas was such an unbelievably dangerous threat, such an instantaneous game ender, that it made everything else look fit for NU play by comparison. You might not immediately guess why when you first glance at Xerneas though. Something like Kyogre is obvious, but Xerneas, base 131 special attack was superb, nobody could argue otherwise. But by Uber standards, it wasn't exactly bringing the house down. Its speed was good too, but nothing overwhelming. Its bulk was quite impressive too, but still nothing that was going to stun on par with Uber's Great Walls, Lugia, and Giratina. It had quite a fierce offensive move pool, but Stab Moonblast accentuated with solid coverage and even aromatherapy. But what was the big deal? Well, first of all, Xerneas' Fairy Aura ability meant that as far as its Moonblast went, it was a lot stronger than base 131 special attack, as Fairy Aura boosted Fairy moves by 33%. In other words, it was a little stronger than the boost from Life Orb. Second of all, it also had its signature move, Geomancy, and this is what made it such a tier-toppling terror. Geomancy was basically a doubled Quiver Dance. It provided +2 special attack, special defense, and speed. Shame about the drawback, which is that it takes 2 turns to set up. Oh, never mind, you can give Xerneas a Power Herb, which means that the 2-turn effect is gone. Xerneas gets that doubled Quiver Dance in 1 turn, and the game is probably over. Power Herb's effect was 1 time, but that was all Xerneas needed. It turns out when you've got a +2 Stab Moonblast coming off the base 131 special attack that also has a boost stronger than Life Orb on top of that, and you're faster than Choice Scarfers, not much is going to stop you. Who'd have thought? Fairy Resist? Yeah, those tended to get destroyed by Xerneas' coverage moves at +2. The Uber's player base was in a constant state of panic, trying to figure out how to stop Xerneas. Checks existed, yes, most famously and effectively Klefki, a UU Pokemon that happened to be perfectly told to stifle Xerneas through its typing bulk and priority Thunder Wave. Xerneas couldn't even avoid the T-Waves through Substitute, as Klefki's Play Rough was boosted by Fairy Aura and would break it. However, just because checks existed didn't mean that dealing with Xerneas wasn't obscenely difficult, as they were always on the razor's edge, needing to remain in perfect condition. And sometimes even that wasn't enough, as Xerneas could adapt his moveset and blow them away one way or another. For instance, even Klefki would become setup fodder for Restock Xerneas. Klefki had to begin running Heal Block for this. If you weren't running Klefki, however, your check was probably at risk of getting destroyed by coverage. Ho-Oh would get Thunder, Arceus Steel and Ferrothorn would get Focus Blasted, status users would be shrugged off with Aromatherapy, and so on and so forth. There were only so many Xerneas checks one could reasonably fit on a team, and since stopping Xerneas from setting up was absurdly difficult, given its amazing typing and bulk, well, you would often wind up losing to some variant with very little or nothing you could do about it. Pick your poison, and hope it's not in Xerneas' moveset, or try to keep your team healthy enough to not get bowled over by sheer strength, because when push came to shove, nothing was better at shoving than Xerneas. As an example of how everything had to adapt and try to slow Xerneas down throughout XY, the Kyogre check in Palkia absolutely had to run Thunder Wave to stifle any Geomancy attempts. Not only could this cause problems when Xerneas was paired with Kyogre, forced to T-Wave Xerneas with Palkia, it Moonblast, there went your Kyogre answer, but it wouldn't even work against Aromatherapy Xerneas. So you pretty much just had to hope and pray it wasn't that set, and if it was, tough luck. There was massive public outcry of Xerneas' brokenness as the player base did everything imaginable to try and slow it down. Each tactic that seemed useful would quickly see Xerneas turn the tables. For instance, Sand Rush Extra Joe under Sand was a great check until Xerneas slapped on a timid nature and Extra Joe was blasted away.
Reminds me
Say
of
nothing of the fact that even against the standard modest variants, unless one managed to get opposing Xerneas setup in Sand, a rarity, one would still lose a Pokemon before Extra Joe came in for the revenge kill. Incidentally, Xerneas didn't need to run Geomancy. It was actually one of the best shortcuts in the tier as well, with its great speed, bulk, and viciously strong Moonblast, making it a superb Pokemon to have on your side in the late game, and the unexpected speed and proclivity to immediately attack could ruin Pokemon expecting Geomancy and staying in to try and punish Xerneas as it's set up. Xerneas could also run an outstanding defensive rest top set on bulky teams that fully leaned into its hit-taking ability to leverage aromatherapy. This was crucial given how many defensive teams' primary method of forcing progress against each other was toxic. Even without Geomancy, Xerneas would have been excellent, but of course with Geomancy, it had players crying for its ban from Ubers. Remember, this is pre-Mega Rayquaza. Such a move was unprecedented at the time, but Xerneas' threat level was sufficient to lead the idea of credence amongst top players. This was no scrub complaining that Kyogre was too strong, the likes of which get shrugged off as a sign of not understanding the game. This was the real deal. Speaking of Mega Ray, Oraz rolled around, and after the initial chaos that led to the creation of Anything Goes, you'd think, okay, Mega Ray created a precedent, right? Would Xerneas follow it? Well, not quite, because Oraz also brought with it a new #1 Pokemon, Primal Groudon, and with it its half-fire typing, it gained the resistance to Xerneas' Moonblast, and it could survive a +2 hidden power ground as well, meaning that pretty much every team would now have a built-in Xerneas check before adding another Xerneas check like Klefki. As such, defending against Xerneas now became more reasonable, emphasis on the more. Whether or not it was fully reasonable remains a subject of debate. Players no longer complained about how difficult it was to fit Xerneas checks that were also a decent Pokemon on their team. Instead, the qualm became the difficulty of keeping Primal Groudon healthy enough to withstand a +2 Focus Blast, since it lacked leftovers. Still, dealing with Xerneas was now palatable as dealing with such a Pokemon was going to get anyway, and it was no longer as universally feared and despised now that the tier was more focused on dealing with not just Primal Groudon, but also Mega Salamence. Having said that, the existence of these two actually helped Xerneas out because their ludicrous power left shattered remains in their way, which Xerneas had an even easier time cleaning up, or vice versa, with Xerneas opening the game for them. Surprisingly though it may seem, taking on all Primal Groudon, Mega Salamence, and Xerneas was nearly impossible, especially when they were also paired with Extreme Killer Arceus, and paired with Darkrai's vicious Dark Void. All in all, you just couldn't stop Xerneas. It'd always find a way around your tricks, whether it was through some tricks of its own or brute force. Yeah, Primal Groudon could be used on every single team and whatever, but when it came down to it, the most dangerous teams were the ones with Xerneas. One cannot overemphasize enough the stranglehold Xerneas had on the metagame in from day one. Gen 6 Ubers was basically Xerneas the tier. The atmosphere was fraught with tense anticipation as the restricted Pokemon were allowed for VGC 2016, and Xerneas was among the most terrifying of threats. Players dreading the prospect of facing or relishing the prospect of abusing it, or both. It immediately became a metagame staple with its Geomancy set, which was just as much of a game ender in doubles as singles. It was so strong it didn't even need coverage, just needing to hit as much as possible with its brutally strong fairy coverage. So it usually used 2 of them. Good old Moonblast, of course, but what if you needed to hit both opposing Pokemon simultaneously? Never fear, that's what Dazzling Gleam is for. Despite the power drop-off from Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam was still more than strong enough to drop most opposing Pokemon thanks to Xerneas' Titanic special attack alongside the +2 Geomancy boost and of course Fairy Aura. And with support from the spread target sleep of Smeargle's Dark Void, as well as other superb utility moves like Fake Out, Follow Me, and Wide Guard, setting up Geomancy was even more of a cinch. Xerneas was part of the so-called Big Six, a set of 6 Pokemon crammed together, as many of the most monstrous combinations of broken Pokemon could fit on one team. Alongside Xerneas was its trusty pal Smeargle, as well as Primal Groudon, Mega Salamence, Mega Kangaskhan, and Talonflame. This set of 6 was brutally difficult to counter throughout the season, even if you knew what was coming. It was particularly due to the potential for versatility the team had, of course, but much of it was also just sheer overwhelming power, and much of that came from Xerneas' ability to end games on the spot. With Xerneas' incredible power on all sorts of teams, not just the Big Six, it was no surprise that its usage was through the roof. Thus, as with other such Pokemon like Landorus, Therian, and Primal Groudon, we have limited its pre-world placements to first place. Those Those placements are as follow. Sam Pandelis at the Adelaide Regionals, Michael Reichert at the South African Nationals, Martin Larumbe at the Sydney Regionals, Nihal Noor at the Melbourne Regionals, Javier Senorena, Italian Nationals, Chase Liebert at the U.S. Nationals, Phil Nguyen at the Australian Nationals, Ian McLaughlin at the Orlando Regional, Jamie Boy at the Liverpool Regionals, who Zernius was paired with Cottony of all things, Zehuan Huang, Philadelphia Regionals, and Dane Zyman, Fort Wayne Regionals. At Worlds, we've limited its placements to just the top 8. By some strange miracle, Zernius didn't win the whole thing, or even place in the top 3, but it was still a dominant, prominent presence. In that top 8, it took 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th places, used by Eduardo Cota, Aaron Traylor, Justin Carras, and Barry Anderson. Aaron Traylor using a bold Zernius with tons of physical ball. All in all, Zernius was one of the most powerful defining forces of the 2016 season of VGC, ranking up there as among the best of the best restricted Pokemon. Zernius returned to Generation 7 Ubers and continued to do exactly what it had beforehand. Oh, big deal. Especially defensive Magearna existed and was a much better answer than Klefki. Be that as it may, Zernius still towered over pretty much everything else, and the Magearna user had to be seriously careful to not get whittled down and unable to withstand such mighty hits, which was not an unreasonable proposition for the Zernius player, given Magearna's lack of reliable recovery and how it was also tasked on with taking other threats Zernius can be paired with, like Nala. Plus, the metagame was just rife with more Pokemon for Zernius to rip through, like Zygarde Complete, more like Zygarde completely destroyed by Moonblast, new bulky Moonblast resist and Toxapex and Celesteela, more like Thundered Pex and Celis Thundered. Okay, those weren't as good, but you get the gist. Zernius was its same old self, which is to say an utter terror and a fixture on hyper offense. It had an amazing new toy to play with in Gen 7 too. The addition of Z-Moves allowed it to equip Aetherium Z and run Z Geomancy. Now this didn't have the charge turn removal of Power Herb, so Z Geomancy would take 2 turns, but the effect was absolutely absurd. It would receive +3 in each of special attack, special defense, and speed, and it would get a defense boost. The latter, paired with a bold nature and maximum defense investment, meant Zernius was absolutely unkillable on what was its one quasi-weak spot, its physical defense. Not that its defense was low, of course, it was anything but, especially with its huge HP. But traditionally, you would attempt to target that, as opposed to its geo-boosted special defense. Now you'd be completely hapless, though. Forget revenge killing it with Mega Lucario's Bullet Punch, or blasting through it with Holo and with Rest. Even statusing it wouldn't help. Zernius could even run in-grain on such a set, so forget phasing it out. That said, Sleep Talk was also an excellent option, since it couldn't call Geomancy, and thus gave Zernius a 50% chance of calling Moonblast in its sleep. Ultra Sun and Moon came around and brought with it another great Pokemon that also checked Zernius in the Krozma Duskmane. It even had reliable healing in Morning Sun. However, as good as Duskmane was, it still wasn't anything that Zernius couldn't potentially bowl over late game, if it were supported and played well. Sure, nobody was calling for Zernius' ban anymore, but they were also still spamming the daylights out of it, despite it being easier to check than ever. Being easy to check didn't mean that it was easy to check when in the hands of a capable player. Zernius continued to be a hyper-offense staple throughout the generation, doing what it always did. The Choice Scarf set also picked up in popularity as players noticed just how much of a force it was late game, as it was easily able to check the terrifying likes of Ultra Necrozma, as well as being able to withstand Marshallow's Technician's Shadow Snakes, while also generally apt at threatening opposing teams with an immediately fast, powerful Moonblast. It came to be considered one of the very best Scarfers in the tier. Its Scarf set also had a new form of utility, Defog. Zernius had picked the move up in Ultra Sun and Moon, and could now take advantage of the many switches it forced to clear the field of hazards for the benefit of teammates like Mega Salamence and Ho-Oh. This was in addition to being able to do the same with Aromatherapy, a Scarfer that, in addition to effortlessly checking major threats and cleaning late game, was also a Cleric and Hazard Remover. Scarf Zernius really was the whole package, and of course, an opponent getting too comfortable against Zernius they thought was Scarf would be punished like no other when it used Geomancy instead. All in all, despite gaining major checks, Zernius continued to thrive in Generation 7. Zernius returned to VGC in the 2019 season Sun Series. Even with Dark Void's nerf, meaning Smeargle could no longer support it as it had before, it remains in utter terror, doing pretty much exactly what it always did regardless of format. And even without Smeargle's help, there were plenty of other excellent support methods to ensure it got its Geomancy off, and smashed all in its path, such as Rage Powder Amoonguss and Incineroar with Fake Out and Intimidate. Zernius' efficacy was evidenced in its enormous popularity. In the Sun Series, according to Pikalytics, from Pokemon Showdown statistics, Zernius was top 4 in usage, being being seen on 38% of teams. In the Moon Series, it was second in usage at a stunning 58%, and in the Ultra Series, it was third, coming in at 39%. It had a plethora of success, as was fitting for such a hugely popular Pokemon. It often paired with Groudon and then Primal Groudon once again. Xerneas often ran bulkier and bulkier sets to withstand hits from monsters like Ultra Necrozma and Mega Rayquaza, and it was so difficult to stop with raw damage that Pokemon began running Roar, an otherwise useless move in the format, just to try and stifle its Geomancy. Not that this slowed Xerneas down much, of course, given the support it often had such as Redirection, Fake Out, and Taunt, especially once players became wise to such strategies. Xerneas was so excellent, will once again be only covering first places before Worlds. The players on screen made first place at their respective regional or higher events. Yeah, wow, that's a lot. But again, shockingly, Xerneas didn't reach the top 2 at Worlds. However, it was still incredibly present and successful there. In the top 8, James Bank reached 3rd and Stephen Mia reached 8th. And it was everywhere beyond that. So overall, Xerneas had another incredibly successful generation of BGC. Xerneas joined the 8th generation in the Crown Tundra, and it was scarier than ever. Yeah, so it lost the hidden power it would occasionally use, and it could no longer use Fairy-M Z Geomancy sets. But who cares? Neither was essential, and it was a trade Xerneas would make gleefully in exchange for the advantages it got, which is the fact that Mega, Z Crystals, and even the Primals had been removed from the game, meaning that the rest of the tier was far less powerful than Xerneas. They hit it less hard, and they wouldn't take its hits as well, to say nothing of the fact it lost a major blanket check with the absence of Primal Groudon. As an Uber that already dwarfed most other Ubers, Xerneas was perfectly poised to have another dominant generation, and that's exactly what it did. Some things never go out of style, and Geomancy Xerneas is one of them. Nor did defensive and Scarf Xerneas slow down much for that matter, which contributed to Xerneas' incredible viability and usage. Even if your team wasn't the style that would really appreciate its boosting talents, it almost surely would have some use for one of the other 2 sets, as they covered such an enormous portion of the metagame. The Scarfer had an amazing speed tier from the meta, getting the jump on other Scarfers in Galarian, Darmanitan, and Kyogre, as well as the Dragon Dance boosted Zekrom, Zygarde, and Rayquaza, to say nothing of his usual capabilities of smacking the likes of Mewtwo, Marshadow, as well as tier newcomers Calyrex Shadow, Offensive Eternatus, Urshifu, and Weavile. Meanwhile, the defensive portion took on such Pokemon more directly, switching into and answering them, as was needed on the bulky teams it found itself on. As great as Xerneas was in these roles, it was still at its best and most dangerous with Geomancy, which, well, did what it always did. Not much really changed in that regard. It still got its one turn of boosting and obliterated all in sight. It may seem slight, but Xerneas was simple yet strong. It was one of the best, most defining Pokemon in Ubers for the 3rd consecutive generation. Xerneas was introduced in Series 8, but the presence of Zacian Crown, which both checked and outclassed it, meant Xerneas was for the first time ever not much of a factor in BGC, despite its status as a restricted Pokemon, and despite the incredible potential of Dynamax. Another limiting factor was that teams were only allowed 1 restricted Pokemon, and Xerneas was difficult to justify as their sole choice in this new Zacian Crown metagame. It wasn't outright bad, of course, and had a handful of uses, but it was no longer a metagame-defining threat. Placements included the following: Gonzalo Padilla and Alex Williams, 11th and 13th respectively at the 2nd Winter's VR Circuit Qualifier, and Li Chun-Tian and Chang Yu-Xiang, 5th and 14th respectively at the Kaohsiung Regionals. Series 10 was much the same, more or less passing Xerneas by, with only a few sparse uses. Lacey L at 12th at the 2nd Hatterene Series Tournament, Paul Ruiz and Sachem Park 3rd, and tied for 7th respectively at the Players' Cup 20 25th Anniversary Invitational, and Ko Sukide, Giulio Tarlau, Kestrel Strom, and Andrea Pagano with 6, 13, 15, and 26 respectively at the World Cup Open. Things open up for Xerneas big time in Series 12 as 2 restricted Pokemon were allowed there, which made it a lot easier to slot in on a team. It still wasn't going to reach its past dominance, but it was much better with this newfound flexibility, and its uptick in usage reflected this. It still wasn't the most common, as Zacian Crown was absurdly dominant, but Xerneas had its place. It had the following placements: Yuta Takahashi, 26 at the VRGD Tour Series 12 Challenge, Event Horizon, who got 10th at the 4th Hatterene Series, Didi Pong, Arunrungrat, and Shuji Endo, 19th and 31st respectively at the Victory Road to Frankfurt, Chayuwa Triwacha, who won the Thailand Nationals, Austin Anderson, who got 62nd at the North American Internationals, and Iker Rodrigo, 8th at the Victoria Road to Columbus. So all in all, not the worst generation, considering the worst thing imaginable is pre-nerf Zacian Crown showing up. And that's it. So how good was Xerneas actually? Well, ever since it first showed up in XY, Geomancy Xerneas has been one of the most terrifying threats in a tier famous for housing the most terrifying threats. Geomancy Xerneas was far and away the scariest thing in that tier. It quote-unquote slowed down an Oras, which yes, technically it did, thanks to Primal Groudon. But that just meant it had to work a little harder before it destroyed everything in sight. The same applied for it gaining Magearna and Necrozma Dustmane as checks in Gen 7 and 8. Funnily enough, it didn't even need to use Geomancy to be an amazing Pokemon. It could go defensive quite well, and its Scarf set was particularly apt at checking opposing threats and cleaning late game. Though a World's title somehow eluded it, Xerneas has also been incredibly powerful, metagame shaping, and successful when it has been allowed in VGC, despite a slower Gen 8 in lieu of the introduction of Zacian Crown. All in all, Xerneas is one of the best Pokemon of all time, truly inspiring the fear and awe appropriate for a box legendary. Thanks for watching, everyone, and as always, if you like the video and you want to see more, be sure to subscribe to False
It was
Swipe
pretty
Gaming for
great.
weekly Pokemon content. And in the comments, I want to know, what do you think about competitive Xerneas? How would you change it? Whatever it is, let me know in the comments. Also, thank you so much to our patrons for continuing.
I was stoked that I got X as well instead of Y. Ryan wanted Y and I chose X, and we traded Pokemon and shit.
And follow my crew on these social media platforms. And that's all I got. See you next time, everyone.
It is a great truth.
I think I copy your homework, sure, just make it look different so it doesn't let you copy it. So if I were to say that Twitter is mad about Power World, that would be an understatement. I've cataloged the number of tweets of people who are unhappy about the outcome of this game being successful. So anyway, Power World has become one of the biggest
Did you
and
ever
fastest
figure out the
selling
ceiling
games of
thing?
all time. And it reached a peak of over 1 million people. And just to put this into perspective and context of how big that is, how many people that is. So let's look at a 24-hour peak right now of, let's see here, all-time peak. So this is all-time peaks for all games of all time. So PUBG is the GOAT with 3 million online players at a time. And then Counter-Strike 2, big surprise there. Lost Ark is number 3 here. Dota 2, and then Power World is beating out Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, New World, Hogwarts Legacy, and Baldur's Gate 3. All at the same time, while it is being also on Game Pass. Think about how fucking ridiculous that is. This is
It's also where you get your
incredible.
mini electric vacuum.
And
too,
so
like
if you
your
look at this right
refrigerator
here,
set. Put them in
you
your
can
room
see
and you can send them off
obviously
to go clean the house and everything for you.
people
Yeah,
are
you get those
loving
in there, too.
this game. You look at the charts,
So we
the
get all of our
numbers are
gaming
good.
routine systems
You
and
look
stuff
at
like
everything
that.
else,
And
the
our
numbers
PC
are
can, like,
very
full
good.
stream drum, you know.
But if you look over
It's
at
so
their
blue
Twitter,
and
you look
gold.
at the Twitter, has sold over 3 million copies.
It's a room fire.
How much is the game? The game is what? $30, right? So it's like that's like $90 million. Let's say it's only $50 million. That's insane.
in 40 hours. Oh my God! It's now 4 million. Is that right? Let me take a look at it right now. 4 million. 4 million pal tamers in only about 3 days. God fucking damn. Oh my God. 4 million. This could have been Nintendo, but they lost it. That's right. They served a need in the market, and the market responded. Much to the dismay and dissatisfaction of a lot of people on Twitter. There have been a number of people who have been furious at the fact that Pow World is successful. And the funny thing about that is that very clearly and so obviously, none of them matter. This has been something I've been talking about for about 2 or 3 years now, is that nobody really cares about the minutia of how a game is created. Nobody cares about the process. Nobody cares about the tools used. Nobody cares about who worked on it. Nobody cares about any of these things. They only care about the final end user product. And at the end of the day, the people that made Pow World made a good end user product. About morals and ethics. Yes, nobody actually cares about morals or ethics. All of these people would complain about Elon Musk. Did any of them stop using Twitter? No, they didn't. Maybe they did, and they used Threads for a while, and then they didn't get the amount of impressions and social media likes and like, what's the word for it? Like, virtual pats on the head. They used Mastodon or Blue Sky for a week, and they realized that they were actually losers, that nobody cared about anything that they had to say. And this guy isn't special, by the way. You're not special. You're not a loser, and you're not the only one, at least. But the reality is that nobody really gives a shit about these things, and people have no problem providing a platform for a transphobe to make money if they can simultaneously farm dopamine from likes at the same time. And so I want everybody to keep in mind, nobody really cares about any of these issues. They're all fake. It's all for show. It's complete virtue signaling. And none of it really matters.
Okay. You're making me feel anxious now.
Yeah, I'm feeling anxious listening to you. It's like, no, dude. I don't know. You're stepping on a lot of toes.
You're missing the point.
Yeah. No one wants to shoot their Pokemon, dude. That's the truth.
Yeah, and I don't think the transphobe part is cool. I think it's cool that Charlie can make a woman-shaped person with a beard. That's fine. It's okay that you can't do that in Pokemon too. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
It's okay for both to be.
Both can't exist.
Scrolling TikTok can sometimes feel like an empty void. Video after video, endless scrolling, your brain is turned off. Then you see a ramen lasagna. Come on, food is being bastardized, minimizing those who dedicated their lives to a craft, the passion of an entire industry in exchange for virality. Sure, there's convenience and content to feed your fried dopamine receptors, but has the need for convenience and pure visual excess replaced the number one reason that cooking even exists? Cooking isn't always about the time that it takes, the flavor that you're creating. It's about the culture and the collective experience that you have with the people you care about. Even if that person is just you. I want to understand this nonsense. We're not just taste testing a bunch of bull. Today we are making the most viral TikTok recipes that exist to see if they're just pure do grabs or if they're actually worth something. Starting with this. We've all seen the pink sauce. If you haven't, here's how it's made. Mayo, ranch powder, cayenne, salt, honey, dragon fruit powder, lime, white distilled vinegar, water this strange sauce down. That'll really help it, I think. I'm being facetious, by the way. I do not think it will help it at all. Let's taste. This is not Pepto-Bismol. This is pink sauce. Please understand, everything will be rated on a tier list scale. S tier being the highest. F tier being, not good. Oh my god. That's it. That is abysmal. It's a sweet miracle whip. It's just got this, like,
vinegary, just unnatural scent to it. But on the tail end, there is a nice little garlicky flavor. That is if you don't throw up. Vicar, I need you to come try this.
Oh, that's great.
You made a whole bucket of that shit.
Smells like paint. I think if you took a shot of vinegar, it'd be better.
So that gets a solid F tier. Not the best start, but let's be honest, this thing didn't have a chance. On to our next contestant. Oh, and one important note. Hello, this is, I guess, the new captain. My new cookbook is out, and if you didn't get a copy, now's a good time. The link's in the description. Love you so much. Stay hard. Smash burger taco. You know, you can just eat a burger. Why do we have to go to this one? Huh? All right, whatever. First, burger sauce. A small bowl, mayo, ketchup, mustard, seasoned with salt and pepper to taste. Give it a whisk till combined, and that is your sauce. Get a hot griddle. To that, you're going to add a 2 to 3 ounce, 75% lean ball of ground beef. Season with salt to taste. Cover with a raw-ass corn tortilla. Press using a burger press until as thin as possible. Sear for 1 to 2 minutes. Scrape underneath. Flip. Season with salt to taste. And a slice of American cheese. Again, cheeseburgers should have American cheese. Please, now once the cheese is melted, it is done. So place it onto a board. Add your sauce.
No, a cheeseburger doesn't need American cheese, bro. God damn it. You can put cheddar cheese on a damn burger and it's delicious, man. Pepper jack, dude.
So I think maybe
Munster,
like, is
dude.
this a lower calorie option?
Come on,
lower
man.
carb option?
You're a
You want
fucking
burger?
chef,
There you
bro.
go. I think for me, I'd give it a B. Would I rather have
Fuck.
a burger? Yes, but is this bad? No.
If I'm looking at visuals, taste, texture, overall experience. Visuals,
Fuck.
I never want to see an open-faced burger again. There's nothing
You don't get it.
supple, glossy buns, cheesy, melty, beefy inside. That's an iconic image, and this is bastardizing that. Taste and texture, it's pretty good, but the lack thereof of bun completely changes this experience. It is not a burger. It's a fatty taco that tastes like a burger because those ingredients are in there. So ultimately, I think I'll give it a solid, strong B+. So a B. It's good. Would I make it again? Maybe, but I wouldn't tell anyone about it. Hot chocolate bombs. This one was a big one for you. But is it really worth the effort? You can melt some chocolate over a double boiler, spoon that into a spear mold. Who has that? You have that? Probably not. I had to buy these for this. Spin around to fill the mold, put the molds upside down to drain the excess chocolate, and let that set at room temp. Yeah, that takes about 45 minutes, by the way. Take your half spheres out of the mold. Fill with hot cocoa powder, a couple marshmallows, then use a hot knife to clean out the edges, then quickly set another unfilled half sphere on top of that to glue the edges together. When they're finished, they look like this. So there you go. I guess you just put this in hot milk.
Whoa. This is pretty cool.
There you go. It's kind of like a clam opening up. I'm not having fun, all right? I'm not smiling.
This is bringing me joy.
Oh, that's good. Pretty good. It would be good if you didn't have this in the hot chocolate bomb. This is purely for the theatrics of having the hot chocolate bomb melt, and it's like, oh my god. I think it's worth it. I think it's cute. If you have kids, that could be cool. I don't have kids. I recently got forced to get a cat. Cat's probably gonna piss in this.
I was gonna say if I was 6, I'd enjoy this, but honestly, I enjoy it now. If this was made for me, this would be awesome. I don't think I would, get the whole mold and make the chocolate and do all that. I'd rather just either go buy some hot chocolate or make a mix. I'm gonna give it the enjoy more.
This is all I have to say. You can make great hot chocolate a million ways. If you're willing to put in the time and effort to do all that work, purely
Bring me some.
having a ball pop in there, go right ahead. It tastes great, and I do think it's fun. And if I
I love you.
I would be excited about it. So I'll give it a speed. Not bad. Ramen lasagna. This looks like it was spawned from a deep REM nightmare.
No.
So in a 9-inch square base, you start with a base layer of nut chips or the half of an instant ramen noodle square. Spoonful of ricotta. At this point, I was really questioning a little bit of marinara sauce, mozzarella, fresh grated parmigiano, the other half of your instant ramen noodle, or ricotta, marinara, mozzarella, and parm. Pump into the oven at 375 Fahrenheit or 190 Celsius for 30 to 40 minutes. Pull it out, it looks like this. Isn't that nice and horrific? Amazing. I can't wait to have a panic attack later. Cut it out, pop it on a plate, or show the winter chopped parsley, olive oil, flaky salt, fresh cracked black pepper, and now we
Somebody
taste.
have a lot of money, I guess.
It's tomato sauce and cheese. It's gonna taste okay. There's no benefit to doing this. It tastes the same as a lasagna, quotation marks, but you're turning the dial down on the actual experience of it because it's like a cheap ramen noodle. It's like half cooked. Like,
I like your little school chairs.
Yeah, this will be where the teams actually sit.
Even in the days in college, when I did something, this is not something I would make. Not something I make now, not something I make then. The texture is pretty awful. It's just kind of all over the place.
There's no benefit to it at all. Nowadays, they make lasagna sheets that you can just put directly in your oil. To me, this is an F tier.
Yeah, okay, so, goddamn this Sims 3 camera. It's necessary, I need it when I need it, but otherwise, holy shit.
Yeah, that's enough.
So that's where the teams sit, right? And then that's where like the people could sit on these benches. And then you can see here, this, huh?
Yeah, doggy door?
No, it's not a doggy door because the walls are just that big.
Oh, okay.
No, the doors are just huge. No, that's a full-size door.
Oh, okay.
But this would be the locker room. Yeah, that's the locker room.
Yeah,
That's
the lockers is not bad.
yeah.
It's not very big.
It'll have to
They
be.
get a shower?
Huh? A shower? Not in there, I guess not. Unless I remodel this a little bit and make this room the shower. I'll have to remodel this room right here and make it like the locker room shower.
Yeah, then you have another one on the other side too, right?
That'll be another classroom. These are supposed to be classrooms. It's supposed to be 3 and another 3 classrooms. 2 up here.
They also
Huh?
have doors that say for girls and doors that say for boys, so
Look.
either son can't go in either one.
Look.
So since it can't be raped and attacked, you know what I mean? Yeah. So are you gonna do that though? Because
See?
it would be like, would make it more for like that locker experience, you know what I mean?
These will be the bathrooms. I had the bathrooms over
Like
here.
keep other guys and girls out.
So you think I need another set of bathrooms over here and showers?
Yeah, like take those back walls out if you don't know what to do with them. If you don't already have an idea, you can turn those back rooms into their shower rooms. And that way you can control the people that come in there, whether they're boy or girl. You know what I mean? They can put a door and stuff
Where
like
the
that.
fuck am I gonna put these benches then? I feel like I need to have 2 different showers then.
Yeah, no. You do. I thought you were making like a big school thing and everyone gets pumped up. When you got a big field like that where you're doing basketball, you gotta have the shower.
It's a very, very small private school. I don't know.
You can do it, baby. It's not
I don't know.
No, I think this is a very traditional thing that just happened to go
I have fun
viral.
playing in this house.
But I won't credit any of them. This is not reinventing the wheel, but it is
But you
delicious.
can do it
So
too,
it's a
baby.
strong and powerful.
I'm working on our backup bedroom.
Moving on.
We have so many of them. I don't even know when I'm gonna put upstairs.
But we're gonna give it a fighting chance. So you're gonna rough chop some imitation crab, rough chop some cooked salmon, then in a medium mixing bowl add kubi mayo, cream cheese, srirachas, rice vinegar, whisk together, and fold in your quotation marks. Not quotation marks salmon. Then in a 9x13 baking dish, add some sushi rice into the bottom, layer on torn nori sheets on top. God, this is abysmal. I mean, there are whole people who dedicate their lives to the craft of sushi, and this feels a bit like a spit in the face, bro. But you know, whatever. Add your meat mixture to the baking dish. Spread evenly.
Are you fucking kidding me?
190 Celsius. Pull it out. Add sriracha, kubi mayo, maybe some green onion, sesame seeds, whatever floats your boat, and whatever will cover this up so you don't have to look at it. And now we taste. Visually, man, that's rough. The green onions and everything on there helps. It does turn into something. I can't help but think about the fact that we made a sushi casserole. It just
Dude, a sushi casserole. Are you hearing that? A sushi casserole.
That's knocking some points off. Texturally, the rice is nice. It didn't get too soft. It's creamy. That said, I prefer it in the form of a roll.
Sushi casserole.
But an enjoyable. From just like a non.
Do you understand that?
Making sushi is just such a big task for me. I enjoy sushi, enjoy going out and eating sushi, but I'm never in the mood to really make sushi at home. I think that convenience is great. Out of what's on TikTok, this is an A for me, but I can also understand why it's a C for you. I think putting those both together, this settles at a surprising for a sushi casserole B tier. Puff pastry tarts. This one seems like doing 80% of the work of making a tart and then just half-assing the rest. I don't know how I feel about this. To a sheet tray layer with parchment paper, drizzle a random spot lightly with extra virgin olive oil, a touch of reduced balsamic vinegar, thinly sliced shallots, fresh thyme, some crumbled feta, and then you're gonna lay a rectangular piece of puff pastry on top of that. Seal the sides with a fork, and then you lightly with egg wash. Pop that into an oven at 400 Fahrenheit or 204 Celsius for 20 to 25 minutes. They come out looking like this, and the underside has shallots. I mean, it doesn't look too bad, but I mean, why not just make the full tart? I guess we'll find out. I'm not in love with it. I mean, I love shallots, balsamic vinegar, puff pastry. It's just kind of like, you know, flavors that work. It's easy to do. You're getting a lot of just balsamic puff pastry before you even get to the shallots. So I'm gonna give the C and a D. Honestly, I'm gonna give the D just because I have no purpose for this, and I think it's pretty purposeless. It's a solid D, maybe even a C, but I'm gonna keep it at a D. Ah, the butterboard. Can we all talk about how unsanitary and gross and weird this trend is? Like, why? Just put, whatever. We'll get into it later. We all know how this is done. You get a cutting board and you spread really gross dollops of butter all over the board.
You're making me sick. Ew.
But at the end of the day, you're just smearing butter all over a board, which I guess to each their own, right? You know, we all have mental breakdowns. And then you can top it with whatever you want. Chili crisp,
I agree.
bacon, honey, flaky salt, chives, dill, mint. That's what I did. I'm sure it'll taste good. It's like being like, hey, you want some soup, and then you're pouring soup directly.
I'm not gonna eat it. I'm gonna scream at you.
I also took one bite and I'm good. I like the flavor. That has nothing to do with the method of the butter.
know that even if you make this for a party, it's gonna get
I already know how we like to live in real life. I'm putting the computers right next to the bed.
Oh, you. Now who wants that? Josh
Right in
had it
front
all
of
on
our
these other flavors. Like after just one big glob of butter, I'm like, I'm out. It's just so much butter. It does taste good, I will say. It doesn't taste bad. You can achieve the exact same experience, much less gross and much more tidy and orderly. Because after this is 25% gone, it's gonna look nasty at your dinner party. I don't have a single friend that would enjoy me making this. I would enjoy making this. So for me, it's a solid F. It's an F.
Gross. Gross, gross, gross. Nasty. What is wrong with you? Who did that? Oh. Oh. Let's just cook butter on a board. Not cook it, but oh.
Butter and just smash croissants. Fresh with honey on the top of the croissant. Place a piece of parchment onto the croissant and use a stock pot to weigh that down. Turn the heat to low and toast for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then flip, brush again with honey. Parchment back on, weigh down, and toast for 2 to 3 more minutes. Or until caramelized, chewy, and crisp. Top of a simple torn fresh burrata, mortadella, pistachios, a touch of extra virgin olive oil, leaky salt, and fresh cracked black pepper. Let's taste.
Okay.
Alright. I will say we didn't put arugula on this. Why didn't we put arugula on this? Because that's gross. Because throwing raw arugula on something shows that you are being classless and have no inventive thoughts whatsoever.
I really like it. There's a lot of people that can hate on this method of how this is put together.
Any French person that sees this, I guarantee you, is going to say you when they see that.
America.
I almost want to give this an S tier, but we have to recognize this is just a croissant smashed and candied with some burrata and Italian cured meat, and that's it. And it tastes awesome, and you should make it, and it's very easy to make. It's a strong, strong, strong A. We can't just give out an S tier to something like this.
Is it mind-blowing, super inventive to be on this viral
Gross.
scale?
That doesn't make any sense.
So in terms of like an S, but I would give it an strong A.
Strong A. I A tier. Moving on. $1 million spaghetti. I don't know where the $1 million came from, but there's definitely spaghetti in this. Here's how it's made. So cook and drain some spaghetti. Preheat a saucepan over medium-high heat. Add sweet Italian sausage. Sear until nice and brown. Break that up with a potato masher. Cook that through. Remove the sausage. Reduce heat to medium. Add onions. Season to taste with salt. Cook till translucent. Then add garlic. Fresh cracked black pepper to taste. A little bit of Italian seasoning. A little bit of marinara. Add your sausage and stir to combine. Now, to your cooked spaghetti, you're going to add a touch of marinara to that as well for some reason. I didn't make this right. Toss that together. Then in a medium mixing bowl, add cream cheese, ricotta, mozzarella, sour cream, and pull together with a spatula. Okay, this is where the directions get really questionable. So you're going to take a 9x13 baking dish, and you're going to add some cubed butter at the bottom. Wow, okay. I'm going to call a psychiatrist after this. Add half your spaghetti, your cheese mixture, followed by the rest of your spaghetti, then your meat sauce, then mozzarella, and more cubed butter. Bake some Fahrenheit over 175 Celsius, and
There's just so much butter being used everywhere.
What this looks like is what it tastes like. It's very middle of the line. It's just pasta.
You want to know what $1 million lasagna is to me? A lasagna that was made with love and intention and made with the highest quality ingredients properly with real technique. That might be worth the title of $1 million lasagna because it's actually a lasagna.
I give it a C. It's not a lasagna. Well, it is a lasagna, but it's not really a lasagna. It doesn't deserve the title.
I just want to clarify, my annoyance here is not because it's not good. It's because it's not that mind-boggling. Maybe that's what the internet is about sometimes. Sometimes the internet is about, like, people are scrolling. You're not really thinking that deeply. They're just kind of like, oh, cool. But it's not uncool. It's okay. So we'll settle on C. Are you going to be blown away by it? No, not really. Moving on. Yogurt toast. Wow. This didn't need to exist. But in a medium mixing bowl, you're going to add yogurt, egg, maple syrup, whisk until it has a... Why does it look like that? Then you're going to take slices of white bread and indent a circle in the center. Look, I didn't make this up, okay? It's only hurting every fiber of my being to do this. Spoon in your yogurt mixture into the indent, add some fresh fruit on top. You get some raspberries, blueberries, and then for some godforsaken reason, it's popped into an air fryer at 350 Fahrenheit or 175 Celsius for 8 to 12 minutes. You pull it out. It looks like this. You dust it with powdered sugar so you don't have to look at it, and now we taste. Completely carried by the fruit. I don't detect at all the custard element, which I did by itself. It's a relatively purposeless and flavorless custard. It's also super overcooked in the world of custards, and it'll never not be super overcooked. You wanna know why? Because you're blasting it in an air fryer. That's not how you make custard, sweetheart.
This whole thing is just screaming convenience, but convenience just dips the quality of it. You're like, oh, I want all my things for breakfast all together in my air fryer, and you're not gaining anything from that. I mean, there's no taste other than the fruit.
It looks better than it tastes.
That is true.
And it doesn't look that good. So I'm gonna give it a big old D.
D for sure.
Moving on to baked feta pasta.
This was one of the first big trends I saw, and it made me realize that many people don't care about some of the things that I really care about. And it hurt my feelings. So let's make it. 9x13 baking dish, add some cherry tomatoes, some olive oil, salt, pepper to taste. Toss that together, add a block of feta in the middle for whatever unholy reason. Bake at 400 Fahrenheit for 30 to 35 minutes. You pull it out, and at this point you're thinking, oh, this does kind of look nice, right? Delicious tomatoes, but at the same time you don't realize the terrors you're committing right now. So you're gonna add some cooked pasta to that, toss together, fresh chopped parsley, toss, that's it. The reason why people love this, because it's easy. But do people really love it for the taste? I guess we'll find out. It doesn't taste bad, but somehow this tastes like a diet pasta. The irony is, it's not low calorie or low fat.
I'm trying to think of who would like it. It definitely hits the one pot pasta crowd for sure. I mean, do I know people that would really enjoy this? I think my wife would love this. I think it wouldn't be hard to make, and I think that she would eat a whole pan of it. I'd give it a B. It's not for me.
It is very convenient, but again, I really need a high reward for the convenience.
Is that a nice thing to say about your wife?
Isn't that much harder?
My
I
wife
would call this
shit
low
ton of
food,
it,
but me, I'm not gonna be to say it's a C if you're willing to.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
We're calling this a C. Cloud bread. So that's what it is. In a large bowl, whisk together egg whites. Directly add sugar, cornstarch, and beat until stiff peaks. Smear your egg white on a parchment paper lined baking tray. You're gonna shape it into sort of a weird cake. And bake it 300 Fahrenheit or 150 Celsius for 20 to 25 minutes. Comes out looking like this, and everyone thinks it's so cool because when you crack into it, oh my god, it looks just like a cloud. So what? I guess if you want to make a little science experiment for the kids, like that seems like a good use of this. For eating or even calling this food is a jailable offense. So let's taste it.
I was very impressed with how it looked, and I smelt it, and it legitimately.
And I dealt it.
It is tremendously.
Oh my god, that's dramatic.
Oh, I almost threw up.
All right, let's eat it then. If I could rewind time about 10 seconds ago and not have eaten that, I would be 10 times happier than I am probably for the rest of my life.
That's maybe one of the worst things I've tasted. That's an F. That's a full-on inedible F.
This is not food. That's an F. Yeah. Pickled fries. This one I thought was a little interesting. And when I say that, I mean the sound effects you used sounded questionably crunchy. For potatoes soaked in a liquid, not so sure about that, but we're gonna find out. Peel your potatoes, cut into quarter-inch planks, then quarter-inch sticks, then into a quart mason jar. You're gonna add salt, water, add a 2.5 to 3% brine, add in your potatoes, mustard seeds, black pepper, corns, fresh dill, crushed garlic, and then lightly top with the lid because if you tie this down, it might explode. So just lightly. Set it at room temperature for 5 days, then drain the brine from your potatoes.
He's pickling fucking French fries.
And dry as much as possible. See, at this point, I'm thinking, oh, really nice waterlogged potatoes, and they're nice and wiggly. But look, we're optimists, so we're gonna keep pressing on. So first, we're gonna fry that at 320 Fahrenheit or 160
So he pickled them
until
first.
just cooked through and
He brined
on
them.
the outside. You notice little bubbles starting to form on the outside. There's almost already a crust, which I'm surprised to see. But we'll see if this gets any better. Bring that into a paper towel and baking sheet. Increase heat of your fry oil to 350 Fahrenheit or 190 Celsius, and fry till crispy and golden. Pull them out. I'm not gonna lie. Listen to this. They're sounding crispy. You might have a chance here. You have to season these immediately with salt when they put fire while they are still hot, or these salt will not stick. Then all we have to do is place this on a nice little plate with some ketchup and mayo, and we taste.
Hey, baby. Yeah, it tastes as good as it sounds. I think this is like now the ultimate way to make a fry. I never thought that pickling fries would lead to flavor like this. You got the garlickiness, you got the sweetness in it, just a lot deeper of a flavor that you normally get compared to if you just put seasoning on it.
I should clarify. It's
Yeah,
not
bacon
really
is coming.
They're actually lacto fermented, but they do give them a pickling taste. I don't know if I can say these are my favorite fries that I made just because I have a different technique in my book.
Isn't it nice?
You're out there.
As someone that doesn't have a book,
You would come up here to
this
have
is the top one.
There's nothing wrong with this. I mean, this is very contributive, I think, to like the cooking game. And
You have
the
your own
grinding
bathroom.
process and them sitting for so long in the salt, somehow creating some sort of chemical reaction that creates this beautiful crust of crunch and chew.
That's
And
beautiful.
it's cooked
You
nice,
did a good job on
and
that
it's
in that
flavored
space.
however you want it to be flavored. In this case, it tastes like a
You could stream it and invite your guests to come on the show.
most
Put them
qualified
over here on chairs and
I
stuff
agree.
like that.
This is actually food science on TikTok. And
You
for
done it.
great
You did a good job on that space.
On TikTok and Instagram too. I don't know if this is OG your technique, but you're the only place I've ever seen it done. I love you. You did something good for us today. Made my tummy happy. Look, the moral of the story to this video to me is this. I hope people spend more time enjoying things more meaningful rather than the endless scrolling of 30-second highlight reels. It's hard to tell the truth, what's right and wrong, or even form any sort of an opinion when you only have seconds to understand it. Yet nowadays we seem to think that that's enough time. It's the lack of time spent on these things that create barriers and hurt community in food. So remember, there's always a lot more to be enjoyed from little bits and pieces of a singular thing. You really sit down and digest. It's okay to spend more time on things and
even after saying all that, there still might be something good in it after all. But only time will tell. In this episode, we're mixing two things that have got
No.
Two things has gone out of control.
This happened on the night of the 17th, and the next night Ukraine tried again and successfully hit their targets.
I'm trying to see if I can find this on here. No, there we go. Mm-hmm.